Well, I think that's about enough time waiting around here. Hey guys, hey, hi, it's me, it's Tech. It's Tech. Oh, wait, hold on. There we go. I don't need to do the recording, but I like to do it anyway. Hey guys, hey, what's up? It's me, it's Tech. It's Tech. How you guys doing? Ah, I. There are about a. Oop, shit, hold on. Wait. I keep trying to start it. Where is it? Yeah, there it is. Ooh, what a mess. There's about a million ways that I could start this. I just want to say, hey guys. So for those who are unaware, normally this would be the time in which I would do 100 line with Saf. But Saf is currently out right now, doing cool shit that they like to do, that they also had planned like 2 months in advance. So it's just you and me, guys. And that means we're gonna be trying out this game here, Of the Devil. Don't particularly ask me how I found out about this game. I don't know, actually. All I remember is that one day while I was scrolling either Twitter or Blue Sky or something like that, it came across my dash, and I was like, hey, this looks interesting. Oh, hey, there's a Steam page. Look, link for it. All right, I'll give it a try. I'll see what it is. It was free 99, so I took it instantly. So I'm like, why not? It's a free game. And it looks to be an extremely stylized, and from what the descriptions say, it seems to be kind of like maybe like an Ace Attorney. It was either, I'll tell you guys right now, it was either this or the Somnium Files. And I actually care a little bit too much about the Somnium Files to want to do that. Like if I end up deciding that Of the Devil isn't really for me, which I may or may not, I'm not really the one to judge like that, but if I decide I don't want to continue with Of the Devil, at least on stream, that's fine. It's one that I can make. If I started the Somnium Files and then Saf came back, I would need I still want to do 100 line with them, but now I also want to do Listen, this is just the easiest choice. Let's not worry about it too much. But yeah, we are here with Of the Devil. Hopefully, I made a small declaration to myself that I would do everything short of drinking like a Red Bull or something to make sure that I don't fall asleep mid-stream again. I didn't technically do it last time. For those who kind of don't, actually I haven't uploaded that yet, so you won't know what I mean. But if you watch this immediately, and not in like a time that I want you to, the latest Hollow Atraxia that I did, I had to stop midway through because I was literally falling asleep mid line read. I was falling asleep and just saying shit, which is dangerous. So now I have a couple things to eat and drink off to the side here. Hopefully they'll keep me up. I also took a 2-hour nap before I started this, so like I'm fairly certain it won't happen again. But I think that about covers everything that I wanted to say. There was a couple other things that I did want to say. I guess they're not that important. So why don't we just get started with a new? That's right. So this game is in fact free 99. This version of the game that I'm about to play is free to you can just grab it off Steam right now. If you like what you see, why not get it? It's free. It costs nothing but your time. But I did see that there's an episode 1. It was episode 0, but there's an episode 1 available for $10. So hey, if you like what you see and you're like, yeah, this is a good game, don't be afraid to, kick a few extra dollars their way, get some more of it. It's always nice. All right. Now with that said, Let's go. Oh, and it is by episode 1. No, this is episode 2. Interesting. So let's see how this goes. I know almost nothing about this game, by the way. Ooh. What is all this? Rain sizzles off neon above me. The summer shower creates a noted uptick in the flickering of holograms down the street, and a slight blunting of the night's ambience. Emphasis on slump. Lights, cameras, and constant noise. The city's got insomnia, with an uneven heart rate to prove it. No escaping the second-hand nervous energy of it all, but I'm pretty acclimated. Just a wave of worries cresting over the surface while I hold my breath deep below. Besides, a microdose of nightlife anxiety suits my mood just fine. Because if I'm not careful, this client of mine is going to die in jail. Morgan. Criminal attorney. It's hard to get away with murder these days. People are still presumed innocent, at least on paper. But by the time they're in cuffs, there's hardly any shadows of doubt left. Because the whole world's lit up, mapped out, never unknown, and always online. Whether it's incandescent or neon or hollow, whether it's LCD, LED, or just the nearest phone screen, there's light shining on every last pixel of the map. And someone's always watching. Solitude's a rarity, anonymity is scarce, and criminal defense attorneys aren't exactly flush with customers. So you take whatever clients you can get. You don't balk at a public defender work, no matter the hour. And should you find yourself on one of the last dark, quiet corners left in the world, well, smoke 'em if you got 'em. Not that there's much else I can do until my phone. Texting with the state system. Counselor, your public defender contract has been approved. You are expected at the 254th precinct. Present your ID at the door to enter. Arrive at least 15 minutes early. I'll try. Looks like the paperwork came through. It's only 3:15 now. 90 minutes since I took the job. That makes it about 2 hours since they finally got smart enough to ask for a lawyer. If they're really smart, they'll have used that time to get some rest. Because now that I'm here, things can get busy. Of the Devil, Episode 0. And he shall appear. No, I'd like the tutorials, actually. Please and thank you. I don't know anything about this game. All I know is that it's visual novel styled. Oh. Was this an actual environment to move around? Okay, so okay. Interesting. I wonder how they got these. Precinct 254. It's a goddamn ghost town. With nothing but a hologram for a welcoming party. I'm here about a homicide. My clearance might be damned. You'd think they treat it with a little more gravitas. Well, whatever. If it's unimportant, they've got no right to complain if I take my sweet time getting checked in. And I should take my time. Information's like cash in my line of work. You gotta spend it to make it. And if you're flat broke, well, I'm gonna give a shit what you have to say. So let's see if I can't poke around. Shake some change loose. Press escape or click the phone icon on the top left to access the pause menu where you can save liturgy. Okay. You can toggle on auto text advance with the A key or check reread previous lines with the L key. That's important. Use mouse to look around for points of interest that you can click on or press space to find them automatically. You have credit for investigating everything and everything you can. Credit is both a measure of your information gathering skills and your own credibility. So don't go broke. Oop. Your name's cracked in the corner. I don't think that's the corner. Oop. Conductive resin. It's bad, but my phone's made up with the same stuff, and I'm rolling the dice every time as it falls off the sofa. Probably pull null the warranty on one of these things with a loud sneeze. Ooh, shit, what the hell? This is not broken entirely. Even at this hour, it's still dutifully scrolling through its notifications. Looks like the usual 1-1 ratio public health alerts and inoffensive pop culture trivia. You always get served at state buildings. There's a few missing persons, too. 1 year of silver plan coverage courtesy of Caduceus as a reward for any... Silver's no joke. Apparently must be getting desperate. What was that? Oop. Silver plan coverage. Interesting. Oop. An actual police lineup. It's like I walked into a museum. The museums tend to feel expensive and clean. Dusty, forgotten, probably lots of unpacked boxes. The homicide department's more like an attic. I believe they were ever so busy that they had witnesses making IDs in the lobby. Then again, it's hard to believe they were ever doing lineups in the first place. Are you certain? Wasn't it dark? Didn't you know that being traumatic events, memory formation is blah 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 blah? Poking holes in the setup must have been like shooting fish in a barrel. And all during billable hours. But there's no room to sow down anymore. Not when a modded witness can just submit their testimony as a video recording. Assuming their phone didn't automatically file a police report for them. Interesting. Hey, let me see that conductive resin. Oh my god. Noun, industrial polymer capable of programmed electrical conduction. Magnetic polymer used in a wide variety of stationary accused of engineering obsolescence by custom. But these claims have never been proven before in court. Screen crack, schedule fix here. We also got holograms, which sounds 3D image formed by light. Sounds like we already know what they are. Projected mediums that conductive resin. Holograms are graphic displays that appear three-dimensionally when I were face range released. Water center vision phenomenon. Originally patented in late 2059. Water center phenomenon. In the adult entertainment industry, holograms have become widely adopted into an advertising tool until much maligned holiday season of 2061, which laws restricted by holograms in public spaces were past uncharacteristically universal support. I'm starting to see that you've installed a Silvertino's device to disable and highlight our recommended premium external links. You understand your drive for personalization, but unauthorized tech impacts it. Yeah, sure, man, whatever. Fascinating. Ooh. Profiles. Alright. A reading list. Evidence. Save, load, store, search terms, settings, backlog, lock phone. A data pad. I'll buy. Even when they're more advertised than an article, they can still be informative. Sam sends me the weirdest things when they're drunk sometimes. Even when they're more, yeah, in a flowery, roundabout, corporate propaganda sort of way. Ooh, keep an eye out for articles in the environment. They offer insight into the world around you and credit towards your investigation. Articles are added to your phone's reading list if you just read them. Choose the proper takeaway after reading them and you'll earn additional bonus credit too. Subway fixes axed city to refocus on canopy. Declaring the subway tunnels to be irreparably flooded, city engineers announced this week that all plans to drain and repair the system were being suspended indefinitely. Saltwater damage to sensitive electronic cabling and erosion of key tunnel fixtures cited as the reason for why 89% of the subway system was evaluated as critically compromised or worst. Civil engineering efforts will be refocused on maintaining an expansion of the hybrid super infrastructure system. Refocused on maintenance expansion of the hybrid super infrastructure that weaves together trams, highways, walkways, and skyscrapers into the canopy high above our city streets. Reactions to the announcement could be characterized as blasé. It's been years since the subways last ran and decades since they last ran on schedule. Most citizens have long since given up hope on another inconvenient comeback. Online chatter barely reacted to the announcement. Most commenters and voters' attention focused instead on the growing investigations and the Councilman Long's campaign finance irregularities. As one of the Canopy's major backers in City Hall, Long has often found himself at odds with a small but vocal group of critics that consider it to be an eyesore and an amplifier of light and noise pollution. And with Long having stepped away from his political duties in order to more fully cooperate with investigators, for the first time in nearly 20 years, the typically rock-steady political foundation of the Canopy was looking uncharacteristically shaky going into this week. With the subways now officially no longer an option, people and corporations like a little choice for how they complete their morning commute. However, not all reactions to the news have been negative. At least a few bold individuals see this latest report as vindication, possibly even a rallying cry. Already considered by many to be a rising star in infrastructure solutions abroad, tech startup Subterra made headlines last year with a radical proposal for a system of personal submarine taxi pods. And installed with their first prototype of the city came with a disappointing $3,395 over budget. Jesus Christ. The one council member was quoted as calling their system mind-bogglingly wasteful and impractical to the extreme. In light of this latest announcement, Subterra has proudly declared that they intend to resubmit their proposal package. Across the entire globe, coastal cities like ours have struggled to find civil engineering answers to rising sea levels and subterranean flooding that satisfy financial, practical, and statistical concerns. Historically, most scientists have attributed this change in sea level to climate change. There are dissenting voices. Water rises and falls all the time. The reasons we do not fully understand are it appears that you have 0 free articles remaining this month. Fucking news stories. Ballsy of them. Put a paywall there. As if I'd like to reach for my wallet after having to read a word like aesthetical. Besides, I got the gist of it. The takeaway is that the city is focusing its efforts on the Canopy, probably. Yeah, okay. I'm media literate. That's what the achievement here says. There'll be increasing scrutiny around the Canopy now that there's no plan B. It's a massive project with a massive budget. Lines the pockets of a lot of people, big and small. None of them would appreciate bad press at the moment, knowing Councilman Long's already thoroughly come to the waters. Oop. I got a couple things about that. Hold on. Come on. Gotta find out where to put my mouse. Originally marketed as a replacement for ecologically wasteful for privacy and security. Planned obsolescence is a... Okay, yeah. Planned obsolescence as a feature. You can say that, I guess. High traffic hallways, utilitarian furnishing, multiple screening stations. Pragmatic brutalism, so textbook it can teach freshmen level architecture. You can almost hear the building drone on and on about concrete and iron and hard right angles. Civil penning equivalents of battle scars. We'll fight once so long ago they're starting to look ridiculous. I'm sure it was all very imposing back when it was built. Walking in here now with crime rates where they are feels like a hospice ward for heavy-handedness. Alright. I'm taking in all the scenery and light as much as I can here. I'm gonna get checked in. Booted up fine, so far so good. Good morning. Morgan here for the public defender contracts. Oh. Interesting. December, of course. Criminal defense attorney, puzzle smoking, wooden furniture. Interesting. Commercials, hairdressers, jogging. Can fall asleep in any position. Yeah. Yeah, same. Decaf. Favorite drink, a whiskey sour. Interesting. I don't know what a whiskey sour is. Morgan here for the public defender contract. Could you please provide your name and... Great! Please stand still for a moment. Well, intake hall is charming, more like armless. But it's probably what the designers are aiming for. People don't mind a quirk or two in their tech, so long as it never speaks out of turn. I'm sorry for having trouble placing you. Could you please provide your name and date of birth? So far, so good, was it? Scan the card. Say, why don't you just scan my ID card? Great. Now, could you just confirm your date of birth for me? Okay. Why do they even bother asking? Birthday's on the damn ID card and my profile. I'd be a world-class airhead to get this question wrong. No problem. My birthday is December 26th, which I remember because it was a December date. Yep. December 26th. Perfect. Good morning, Morgan Counselor. Thank you for your timely arrival and for taking on this public defender contract. If you're ready to speak to your client, you can proceed to counseling quarter 3C. Is that what they're calling it now? You mean the interrogation room? I'm sorry to have caused any confusion. Our vocabulary is regularly updated to better reflect state standards. Don't sweat it. Can't keep track of every new euphemism either. They can call it involuntary wellness check-in room if they like. It'll change the way it makes a person feel, sitting in a stifled box of one-way panels. And then to see with their own reflection, dully warped across gun-metal walls. Morgan Counselor, can I help you with anything else? Choose that progress the story. Choices that represent side topics or react differently to your mouse. You can also use keys 1 through 5 on a keyboard to choose dialogue. Ooh. Because of what you read earlier, you've unlocked an additional choice in this dialogue. Read and examine at every opportunity to build your knowledge to get the most out of every conversation. Why the disrepair? Ah, it doesn't work with that one. Why the disrepair? No, this isn't terribly concerned with the lower wards, but this is a police station. Why is it so goddamn dusty? The facility is currently undergoing renovations. Since when? The 60s? It has been 22 months since the timetable was updated. Updated. Maybe I don't see a lot of action here, do they? I'm sorry for any inconvenience you may have encountered. I'm adaptable. What about you? Ever gonna fix that crack? Thank you for asking. It has not interfered with my work. Well, that's all that matters, right? I might as well. What are you? I'm a smart user interface, proudly sold by Noble Electronics. Thank you for asking. If you're interested, I could send you a link with information about our subscription packages. Should I send you a link with information about our subscription packages? No. Sorry. It was a mean question to ask. That'll be all. Thank you. You'll find the counseling quarters past our homicide detective's office. Through the door to your right. Thanks. But I think it's just me for now. So could you go on? You can go on break if you like. Automated dependents do not take breaks, Morgan Counselor. So what were you doing before I walked in? You'll find the counseling quarters past our homicide detective's office. Through the door to the right. Thank you. Ads don't get breaks. And then I get my jokes. Oh, AD. The legal designation for any intelligent electronic entity. Interesting. Abbreviated as AD and referred to common conversation as ad or ads. Automated dependent is a catch-all term encompassing robots, intelligent programs, that don't have holographs, and present both Israeli and physically in every industry and nation. It's neat. In the mid-21st century, you have salaried employees near mere equipment. The chair became so commonly used that it spread all branches of the robotics industry. Some sociologists argue that the term owes its popularity to the simplicity of its brevity and preference between the commonplace robots and the all internationally illegal artificial intelligences. Interesting. Searching for this term an account flag. Read more about how we cooperate with authorities to combat this information here. Interesting. Ads don't get breaks. I don't get my jokes. But it's usually humorless types that are the most fun to mess with anyway. Hello? Oh, there it goes. A cave opens. Oh, is that the track? Interesting. Now he's going bad. A voice. No, the voice is coming from down the hall. They're yours? Probably. Thank God I stopped for directions. In a building this empty, the desk could have just told me to follow the echoes. One voice then told her, rougher, and decidedly low energy. Kind of like the voice I'm doing right now. Appreciate you worrying about me. I bet I try to be serious. While the other rings with youthful indignation. It's not like your job is important or anything. Definitely cops. And at this precinct, at this hour, you might be the only two living, breathing people in the whole complex. Because why else would you bother to print all that out? On Documenter 100, there's a SAM on a data pad. Anytime you question a suspect, you need to have a heavy file in hand. Makes them think you know them better than their priest, their mother, their big brother. I wasn't going to say that. So how many of those sheets were blank then? No red carpet tonight, officers? It's those guys from the thing that I had on the thing. No red carpet tonight, officers? Good cop? Oh, sorry about that, ma'am. We don't keep many extra hands around these hours. Probably faster to let the desk handle intake anyway. But mostly cheaper. You the lawyer? I am. Morgan Esquire. Pleased to meet you. Same here, counselor. Asim London. And the ball of sunshine here is my partner, Farrell Reyes. Ball of sunshine? She certainly is. Huh? Sorry if you were kept waiting. Chatter between the departments has been hectic all night. May 5th. 78 kilogram. Homicide detective first class. Photography, dive bars, bangs. Like the hair? Ties, pollen, after hours work messages. Yeah, fair. Podcasts. Pencil sketching. That's cool. Frequently running late. Andres. October. A minus. Homicide detective third class. Likes rice, limes, and automotive history. Interesting. Liars, small plates, cheap people. Okay. Big eater. Enjoys watching product reviews. Bad at games of chance. Bright Eye, Osiris Elite. Okay. I had a feeling. Why lock phone? Is that just... I'm going to save first, because one, I haven't done it yet. But also, if I lock the phone... Okay, that's just putting it away. Okay. Sorry if you were kept waiting. Chatter between the departments has been hectic all night. It's no trouble. Give me time to enjoy my cigarette. Cigarette? Like tobacco? What are you, 80? Oh my god. She can't be more than a few years younger than me. We're, the detectives in charge of this particular case. And it looks like tonight we're also your humble guides to the illustrious homicide department. Apologies in advance for any cobwebs. Pretty sure I've seen this London character around the courthouses before. Never struck me as more than just an old-timer. But I suppose being an old-timer is an accomplishment in and of itself in his profession. Sunshine's definitely a new face, though. Rigid in her posture and her attitude. 3 in the morning and her shirt still looks ironed. Freshly promoted, maybe? 2 whole detectives working at these hours? Sounds serious. Unless you were just the first to arrive on the scene? No, we're not nearly that timely. Uniforms responded to an emergency calls within a few minutes. Calls, plural. Must have been quite the commotion. Look around. You think we were the first to arrive for anything? He's not wrong. We were only tapped after circumstances at the scene and indicated involvement with an ongoing investigation. Our ongoing investigation. A very subtle issue. But I may as well bite at this point. So you suspect that this client of mine is involved in some separate criminal activity? But did they really not? No. I guess they would put it in a public defender's briefing. Look, consider this a little professional courtesy. Fair warning, yeah. That's the heartbreak dealer in that room. And we've got the bastard dead to rights. So if you're kind, you'll have him plead it out. And if you're smart, you'll pass the shitstorm with some other night owl and go back to bed. I'm not feeling particularly kind or smart at the moment. So perhaps in the meantime, you'd be so polite as to fill me in about this heartbreak killer. They cover utilities in that rock you live under? Is there a problem? You're seriously not familiar with HK? I'm familiar with an HK-47, but not this guy. I've heard enough of him for a lifetime. And he's been plastered all over the city for weeks. Rhymes wavering between breaking news and urban legend. The presumed goal is flip-flopping from unadulterated anarchy to unappreciated vigilantism. Street corners, in the media, on the net. Everyone's indulging in the exact same kind of armchair detective speculation I can't stand. Right now, I need to figure out exactly how much the police do or don't know. When it comes to cops, I always get better results playing dumb than I do acting smart. I take it he's a repeat offender? Was the killer part that tipped you off? You must have at least heard his MO. I mean, he's gone crazy with it. Along with everyone else. One bullet straight through the heart. The body's left to lie where it falls. Hence the name Heartbreak? Not exactly creative, but it's the sort of every other 100-word article out there. Catchy just trumps originality. What you won't read about it online is that all 6 of his victims were shot with the same gun, without even needing to reload. Horrible to say, I know, but 6 for 6? Pretty good shooting, isn't it? Hitting the bullseye at a shooting range is good shooting. Doing it 6 times in a row is great. But shooting 6 people with accuracy like that? It's a whole different beast. It takes a certain kind of monster. Real freak. His pulse probably didn't even rise. I see. So is this what I'm supposed to take away from it? Sounds robotic. They almost make him sound like a machine. Is it possible that... No, it's not. There's no such thing as killer robots, madame. Of course, my mistake. So those androids marching in the military, those robots patrolling the police uniforms, those drones dropping firebombs from the sky, I guess they're all firing blanks. Fair enough. Machines can kill. Have been for decades. But they don't commit murder. Right. Evil like Heartbreak's all organic. Pretty terrifying thought. I should really start paying more attention in the news. I managed to miss 6 murders. Well, you can only blame yourself for missing 5. Pardon? Still not getting it? HK's 6th victim was found a few hours ago. When we caught the son of a bitch red-handed. So you're convinced that my client is the Heartbreak killer, and tonight was just his latest crime? It's a serious accusation with very serious consequences. I take it you have serious evidence to back it up? I was being literal, counselor. Red-handed. When we found your client, he was covered in her blood. Well, that doesn't make sense. Well, that's not good, is it? What you say certainly sounds compelling. Is that lawyer talk for open and shut? But even if that's the case, how does one crime scene make him look good for 6 murders? It's all there in the discovery files. And the ARCs, of course. Go in the local net on your phone and we'll turn over everything you need. I'll bet. Thanks for that, detective. I'll be sure to read it over. But if it's all the same, could I ask you two some questions while I got you here? Now we start reading some of the stuff. Heartbreak. That's cool. That's a really cool design, actually. Date of birth unknown, height unknown, weight unknown, criminal, likes killing, dislikes getting caught. Probably red. Probably not into astrology. Suspended due to an influx of false reports. Yeah, that makes sense. ARCs. Showing results for augmented reality crime scene. Interesting. Abbreviated as ARCs, is an investigative tool in which data harvested from the sensors worn on first responders is used to reconstruct a digital copy of a pristine crime scene. We're distributed by smaller particulars. Modified personalist local municipalities or systems used for information. Insurance investigators of many law firms after its introduction in the early 2060s and technology proved they came out of public screening with independent news organization and media casters. Released a series of articles called our data was regulated by corrupt officials. The corrupt officials claimed that ARC's data was regulated. I blinked and missed my place. Edited by corrupt officials to various state secrets. These reports were later found to be fake, and the UMC exposed as a subsidiary of a cell corporation within Lambda Work Solutions, who were marketing to numbers of alternatives to ARC's technology at the time. Board members are later to announce the actions set itself on such as informing competitors. The settlement policies remain sealed. Interesting. And also not relevant. The hell kind of eternity wants to interrogate the detectives? This kind of eternity. You're just that pleasant. Come on, sunshine. So I'm gonna be punching out anytime soon, right? Whatever. Let your clients do an interrogation all night for I care. You mean the counseling quarters? We're at your disposal, counselor. Oh, cool. Before I do that... Barren, stark, and uninviting. This would be Reyes' best. Keeping your workstation nice and tidy is admirable, but I can't spot a single mode of personalization. She's so new she hasn't had time to unpack? Or is she really that uptight and bold? Both, maybe. Shouldn't have cleaned up so much for so little old me, Detective Lemon. Someone really needs to introduce this guy to a filing system. Or even just a stapler. Paper documents scattered around lazily alongside actual photographs. Either he's really old-fashioned or really paranoid about data leaks. He doesn't look like the paranoid type. Well, worldliness aside, some things are better in paper. I'll give it. Ooh. Latest Nobel androids receive warm welcome. String of strong earnings of the reported surging stuff from day. Animate 16 Nobel Electronics stock rose 3%. I wish I understood how stocks work so I can tell how stunning that is. The new record high on Nobel's latest iteration is surpassed sheer popularity for the system. Many investors were skeptical in infamous 2084. What year is it? To mention Nobel passed the 16th time to be the first generation of androids to feature over 50% organic compounds. So-called warm androids, which totally saw and the health, senior, and child care workers. Looked down upon as a practical tool to increase maintenance costs, cuts, scratches, bruises, and the like. While some critics voiced concerns that fringe religious or traditional education might find warm androids controversial, foreign business focused feared that Nobel's alienated its customers in the industrial and military sectors and contributed to civilian customers. Use that view their androids from across the room, not from across the factory floor. However, it has often been Nobel's raw. The Animate 16 is poised to break profitability records and slowing down many industry and analysts. They replace some more robotic prices. Interesting. It's just right in the earnings report, much of the 16th and 16th series. Project the remarkable lifelines personal charm of the products. And by all accounts, that their charm can be attributed to the work of Nobel's famous lead programmer, David Usher. Lead program is the understandable understatement of the centuries. Brand ambassador Lucy D's Nobel Industry Weekend. It's because of this Turing solution that every Nobel product from the sleekest assistance to the most advanced intensive care technicians just by customers. While his reputation was on full display at the event, Dr. Asher himself was nowhere to be seen. He's always become reclusive, but he's been a genuine hermit in the recent years, so we really do believe he's still. Hey fam, looks like you're not logged into this device. Want to put in your account so we can help keep you reading? No thank you. He's in the news again. No wonder. Can't spit without landing a piece of Nobel tech these days. Especially not with the states involved. Don't know if they'll bite when it comes to warm androids though. For government use, they're just... For government use. Can I see that? Thank you. Don't know if they're going to when it comes to warm androids though. For government use there. I don't think it mentioned anything about a cost. But they did say they were frail? Can I read that again? I can. Thank you. 50% of the childcare sector is increased maintenance cost cuts, scratches me. In a government sector, though. I'm gonna cheat. This is gonna be my one. This is gonna be the one that I do this on. It's too expensive to justify. Nah, I knew it. I knew it was there too frail. Damn it. This is my one and only that I get. They're too frail. All androids undergo wear and tear, especially if they're directing traffic or suppressing crowds. So these warm androids bleed ink all over themselves anytime they take a rock to the cheek. And then a stream of bad photo ops waiting to happen. Again, especially if they're talking about like governmental sectors. Oh, interesting. Alright. Loose wires, missing panels, an aircon system that probably sweats more than people it's supposed to cool. I ruined the budget for making the office not look like shit, huh? I expected to find a lot of belt tightening at Homicide. I don't think their operation would be this bare bones. We got a stunning clearance rate that they work fast. Guess the city sees that and just assumes their job is easy. Maybe their job is easy with our dear doting surveillance state limiting so much of the footwork. But if your wheels don't squeak, you don't get your palms greased. So Homicide ends up as the only state department with a shrinking budget. Dumping grounds for police force's most unambitious and least popular. Okay. Nothing else jumps out at me around here. Got a better of a deal of what we're dealing with at least. Now I need to check out the crime scene data. I should have been sent a link. You've been granted access to state files regarding case KL433511. Reply C to confirm. Confirm. You need to reply C in order to confirm. Am I talking to a person? I am an automated dependent. Hands are usually more polite. Our personalities are tailored to suit our users' preferences. So the state likes you likes to be a little authoritarian. You need to reply C. C. It's case sensitive. C. Thank you. Alright, if I project it from my phone. Ooh. Oop. Wow, that loaded fast. Ooh. What are we looking at here? Is it gun, body? Alright, let's see what the police have and what they think is important. I need to not be mousing on my thigh. Especially not when I'm looking around so much. So there's a body, there's a thing. Okay, let's leave the body gun for last. I feel like this face got tossed aside at some point. And yet there's not a scratch on it. Must be pretty damn durable. Isn't art supposed to be delicate? Maybe it's making a statement. Stand-up mirror, shattered and knocked over. Is that what that is? Real glass. No screens or cameras here. It was hit hard. Hard enough to come unattached from its arm, while shards of glass were scattered. Hard enough to land on the victim's body. What a mess. Interesting. Where was it mounted? Here? Yeah, we got some evidence. Pieces of glass were broken mirrors. Some mirrors with low-tech furnishing with no digital components to pull data from. Within a force discount. A remarkable ceramic vase found knocked over, waiting sturdy. It remains featureless even after being tossed. The gun? Murder weapon. A revolver found next to the body. 6 empty casings found in each of the 6 chambers, meaning the gun was fired 6 times. So the crime crime scenes tech practically disassembled the damn thing. But all they found were fingerprints belonging to my client. So he was found by the police with the murder weapon right in front of the body. I don't even know where to start. Highly prejudicial would be an understatement. The victim's body. Cause of death, ballistic trauma, class 4 blood loss, atrium and aorta. Single GSW to the heart, brief, death was instantaneous. No injuries anywhere else, no blood or skin under the nails. Blood splatter, forensics, all the other good stuff tells me that she was shot from there. So the killer was standing at the door when they were fired. That's all the big ticket items, but the security. Looks like the apartment was unlocked all night. It's not uncommon for people their age in a neighborhood like this. Yeah, seems like it would be old. Flat's left hand fingerprints on it. Time of death, BSGSW, death, bottom of the die. Same handiwork as Free.99 lab message to confirm ballistics match too. Okay. But no signs of forced entry, only hurts my client's case. What about the rest of the room? Not much else flagged here. Just the last chair that got thrown and whatever that is. Unidentified ceramic debris? Flag is irrelevant? That's their technical assessment? I guess even the crime scene techs weren't sure what to make of it. Okay. It's everything the police highlighted. But did I miss anything? I want to take a look around, more look around. Information is pertinent, you know? Oop. Something in the victim's hand. How the hell did... It's just a pill organizer. Looks like some immune adjusters, NSAIDs, and triprexazone, a synthetic glucocorticoid medication. Taking daily to reduce rejection symptoms like phantom pain and generalized itch. Vic had a fake arm? The autopsy said her toxicity was clear, but it's not like it matters. She could have swallowed every medicine cabinet in the city, it still would have changed the cause of death. It's odd, but ultimately irrelevant. Everything else here is very incriminating, but the kicker is everything that's not here. Out of place DNA, footprints, crumbs. Mods instead of complications. Interesting. His collapse was surprisingly difficult to open. Yeah, that looks like it would be hard to open. IoT. Oh, Internet of Things. Oh. Internet of Things refers to the networked data sharing that goes on between all the countless electronics that we monitor ourselves with. Phones, computers, security systems, biofeedback devices, body modifications, and prosthetics, and of course, automated dependents. All comprise small but vital parts of this network. Without IoT's ability to collect, process, and share information, massive opportunity costs build up as individuals, governments, and private businesses miss out on the valuable insight that data has to offer. One of the coolest ways that IoT improves our lives is through the usage of crumbs, small packets of data containing your own unique identifying information. Throughout your day, as your own IoT services say hi to other services, they leave behind crumbs as a parting gift. Crumbs allow for paperless identification and payment, and help the government manage human and vehicular traffic. Crumbs let you see where you've been so that you can see where you should go. Want to start leaving crumbs right away? Don't worry, crumbs are enabled by default. Under the sponsored search results, see further with a premium account. Gross. That's real, by the way. Maybe not crumbs exactly, but I think that points towards anyone except my client. Well, I've done more with less than before. Oop, shit. Oh, okay, cool. Lossless capture victim shot from the doorway. No unexpected DNA, no unexpected crumbs, no unexpected fingers. No, it's digital tampering. Not much before. Not much more. That scene. She died instantly. Was there a struggle? But he only shot once. I'm gonna really have to sing for my supper this time. Better get started. Who the hell's messaging me at this time of night? First person that comes to mind is... I suppose it could be something important. Currently texting with Brat. Red! But don't wait till morning. Good news, of course. Got a job for you. That's a pretty cheery way to tell me you violated parole. Well, not that kind of job. Besides, I've been covering my tracks. This is something totally different. Kind of a thing I can't handle with just a keyboard in a phishing scheme. Hacker. I need you to sue my gym teacher. Not that kind of lawyer, sorry. Hey, at least let me finish. What do they do? Make me run laps. Not illegal. Let me finish. Let me run laps. Even though I said I had a tummy ache. Said. Gotta be like youth endangerment? Some kind of indifference or some shit? A depraved indifference. Sounds like you've already got a strong case. Try self-representing this time. What's with the blow off? Nice phrasing. Oh wow, I'm laughing so hard right now. Cheery. Is that your mugshot? I wasn't gonna not get a copy of my mugshot and use it as a reaction. Glad you found a use case. But I'm working right now, so anything cool? Homicide. Oh, cringe. I think homicide is pretty cool. Wait, what kind of homicide? Is it HBK? Is it the kind of morbid things you kids your age talk about? Teens my age. And yeah, we can read. Compared to the corrupt shit in the headlines. Old-fashioned murder like Hardy B is like... Wait. Hardy B. It's not heartbreak. Then why'd you take the job, lol? You seen the 98% conviction rate as the challenge or something? You taking up lost cause, probe nose work? It's pro bono. That was autocorrect. You know they give lit homework for a reason, right? This is borderline considered nagging. Maybe you really are bleeding heart. Or just a sucker. Not a sucker. Nice phrasing. Well, go to bed, Fran. Tomorrow's Sunday. I can stay up if I want. Tomorrow is Sunday. Because today is Saturday. What's with the Carpe Diem shit? It's nearly 4 a.m., kid. You got school in like 3 hours. Shit! Oh, you. I want to say daughter, but I don't think so. Repeat offenders may be good for business. That kid's bad for my blood pressure. Import text message, I take it. Just a typical teenage drama. So then, you don't mind filling me in on a few details? Androids and cops. Might as well start there. By the way, I can't help but notice that you're light on staff. It's 3 in the morning. Were you expecting a parade? Thought there'd be at least a few androids around. And many androids at any police station this week. Not while Grass is renegotiating contracts. Contracts with Noble? Good guess. Hardly, they're the biggest robotics corp out there. Spend all day in Center City without leaving their office at Shadow. Yes, we're very fortunate to have them headquartered here. Saves us some money on shipping, at least. These talks never last that long. Not sure they'll be able to... I'm sure they'll be back to writing checks for Noble's ads at the end of the month. Even with Noble pushing those warm androids? Warm? Yeah. Might as well call them adult line. Might see them in the bigger departments or out on patrol, but not around these offices. Warm or cold, there's no such thing as an android detective. Yet. Any day now. Guess you'd be expecting those any day now. Maybe android lawyers, too. Get some android politicians in and we'd have the full set. Get real. People might like ads who do what they're told. They despise ads who tell them what to do. Not so sure. Cameras, sensors, satellites. We already get all our facts from machines. Give it a few more years. It makes sense to let machines do the investigating, too. The union would... The police union wouldn't let that happen. You need to have specified. It's the only real union there is anymore. That makes sense. Heartbreak. I'm checking my phone here, and I have to say, done a pretty good job keeping the details of HK's crimes a secret. Less reputable sites are doing some real journalistic acrobatics trying to piece together a story. Yeah, top 11 theories on who hurt HK was a real weighty read. It's not just journalists, though. All kinds have been emboldened. Freaks that HK managed to bring out the woodwork just a few weeks. Can you blame him, though? I mean, he's a genuine serial killer. Repeat offenders in general are an endangered species, but he's gotten away with... We know what he's gotten away with. Take a look around us, detective. National DNA registry is robust enough that cases never go cold. Cameras on every street, phone on every citizen. Violent crimes at an all-time low, clearance rate at all-time highs. But you gonna spout some alt-pol bullshit about invasion of privacy? No, I'm not. People are safer now than any other time in history, detectives. So when someone like Heartbreak does come along... Good point. London's trying to look like he can laugh it off. Pressure for pirates must be reaching its peak. They want, maybe need, to see someone charged in that. Makes them predictable. Yeah, well, even if there's nothing standard about HK, Department SOP still dictates we starve the media for case details. That way when we do feed them, they're grateful for what scraps they get. We can't take all the credit this time around. Homicide's a tight-lipped, but it's not like there's much information for us to leak in the first place. And why is that? Because none of the shootings were caught in the opt-in crime surveillance system. Actually, how is that possible? We've encountered an issue while processing your request. Hey there, it looks like you're trying to search for a term irrelevant related to an ongoing investigation. Until 30s have finally... Interesting. Optics. Boy, do I know about optics. Oh, that's a different thing. Optics. Is a partnership program between the state and public enterprise that allows for the free sharing of surveillance and security data to better promote and preserve public safety. Accessible through state employee lives, smart UAs uses to search through this collate footage with Wait, what? From a city of tens of people. It's just a few. Okay. Markets really cited in state reports some of the most effective tools for reducing crime. Footage from optics often serves as key footage evidence of criminal proceedings. Where it is considered admissible by default. See people versus E-Rollin. Public safety measures in my area, daily security level. That's fine. How is that even possible? I know there's some rough areas like the lower wards, but optics is watching every other street in the entire city. You're saying you haven't seen this killer on camera once? Do you think we'd let him kill 6 people if we did? I understand your concern, ma'am, but optics is only what it says in the name. Private surveillance system signing to feed into the state securities network. It's not perfect. It's another one of the many public safety tools on our belt. It's not meant to be perfect. It's meant to help us solve crimes. Or at least act as a deterrent. One would hope so. Fat chance. Deterrents are for war rooms and board meetings. Anyone crazy or desperate enough to commit a crime in a city like this shouldn't care less about anything as vague as the consequences of their actions. It's like a safety blanket, one with very few holes left in it. But it does have holes. Patching up those remaining holes takes effort, and that effort usually means rebooting the system. With all kinds of technical details and digital bureaucracy involved. The end result is that there are occasional localized blackouts. And the math used to schedule them was not impossible to predict. I see. Those windows of opportunity are small and short. Taking advantage of them requires specific knowledge. You need to be involved in law enforcement, pub data, or city planning. I'd have mentioned if my client was a cop, and he wouldn't have needed a public defender either. As fast as he's modded for heavy mass manipulation, not technical facing. That just leaves city planning. So does he work construction for the city? HK's only ever struck times and locations where objects would be down, even with the devil's own luck. Can't possibly be coincidence. Wait, so you're saying when this woman was killed? Yeah, there was a blackout from around 8 to 9 tonight. Right on schedule, so to speak. And it includes the area surrounding the victim's apartment. Well, what about DNA from the other crime scenes? Was my client a match? There's been no blood, no saliva, no suspect DNA at any of the crime scenes. No footage and no forensics? Also no motive, tampering, or witnesses. It's been like on a damn ghost. Didn't even have a murder weapon. Until now. Finally a lucky break for the boys in blue. Scanners, cams, drones, forensics. No matter how you dress it up with tech, all the detective work relies on one basic assumption. People make mistakes. But HK is the kind of monster who doesn't make mistakes. And the reason we ever caught him tonight was because he finished what he had set out to do all along. So is my client on a list of suspects before tonight? Weren't you listening? There were no list of suspects. We questioned some X's, a few CIs. Someone even spoke to one or two unlisted at some point. Nothing came of it. There was talk about starting some kind of psych eval or something, but I never expected much to come of that. There's just not enough there to work with. In other words, the only thing we have, the only thing I could have to take my client to those killings is the murder weapon. If I can jostle that keystone, then the rest of that case should start to come loose as well. Alright, let's go to details this time. What about the basics? What exactly was my client been charged with? Your client, Carlos Bakar Falant, was arrested on the scene at 9:50 a.m. p.m. No facial data yet. B minus first-degree homicide, civil disturbance 2, no charges. Registered at birth, industrial class 4. Non-affiliates pending, psych eval pending. Okay. Using his middle name already? They really do think he's a serial killer. The charge being first-degree murder of his girlfriend, a Miss Diane Dawn. First degree, that's increasingly rare. Oh. Agricultural genetics research for Prairie Laboratories. Shot through the heart of the bedroom of the apartment she shares with crime suspect Carlos Flat. No known connection with previous HK victims. Okay. Well, that further strengthens my point that I had when we were looking at the crime scene. If he's so... Okay. Here's my line of thought. Security said there was nothing strange, and the apartment is even co-owned by him. Which means that he was supposed to be there, which means that it would be completely normal for him to enter a room with... What's her name? Diane in it. So why was a mirror broken and a vase toppled over and the rest of the ceramic stuff there? I don't... That's my hanging point. Like, it can't be both things that he wasn't supposed... That there was a struggle and that she also just was just shot through the heart. One thing, no issue. It just doesn't make sense. To say the least. It's rare for us to get handed anything but crimes of passion around here. City's got damn near more cameras than people. So you gotta be really, really stupid to try and get away with murder. Well, Heartbreak's gone away with it 6 times. So what's that make him? 5 times, and it makes him insane. I was gonna go with extraordinary. Let's put the difference is he's extraordinarily insane. But nut jobs like that aren't renowned for their ability to think ahead. So it makes you think that this was premeditated. How about the fact that he stalked and killed 5 other women as a warm-up? A warm-up? 5 previous bullets, 5 previous victims. None of them knew each other, lived near each other, worked in the same fields. Weeks of digital autopsies crawling up and down their online profiles. Nothing. So the serial killer chose his victims at random? Or they have nothing in common? Yeah, nothing in common at all. Other than that they look like cousins. The physical similarities are striking. All 5 prior victims are young women, brown hair and eyes about the same height, comparable weight. Well, those features aren't exactly uncommon. Couldn't it be a coincidence? You really believe that? You really should quit your job and start buying lotto tickets. HK's got himself a type. Anyone can see that. You really gonna tell me you don't see the resemblance? Young woman, brown hair, brown eyes. Can't tell how tall she is from a portrait, but I can take a hint. So you think what exactly? That Carlos Flat wanted to kill his girlfriend so badly he went out and shot at 5 other women first? Hey, if the shoe fits. If the shoe fits, then you put the shoe up the... What Sunshine means is that it's not uncommon for killers to displace their violence from people close to them onto outlets with fewer consequences. Drifters, loners, strangers, workers. He's probably building up the nerve for tonight by first practicing on these other similar women. Or he's just so far gone that he can't tell the difference anymore. The worst theory in the world. But it doesn't fit. They want to claim that those previous victims were practice runs, dress rehearsals, for tonight's main event. But if that were the case, there'd have been signs of hesitation, nerves. There'd have been mistakes. And pops of which guns are impersonal. Execution shots even more so. There's no sadism or hatred or intimacy in a single bullet to the heart. Killing your girlfriend on her lookalikes usually is, if nothing else, a lot less sterile. If you ask me. A post-mortem examination of an individual's electronic footprint. The law enforcement process has been locating, bypassing authentication on and investigating all the deceased individuals' online profiles. Commonly used to seek out possible connections to suspects or other victims. The widely utilized practice has been scrutinized in the past by some privacy advocates, but many victims' families who lack the ability to find, let alone access, all of their deceased loved ones' accounts argue for its necessity. Wearable processes are offered as a paid service by some legal or funerary groups to help next of kin recover or delete sensitive personal data. Sometimes these services have been marketed for the defense against data criminals attempting to steal the identities of the dead before their accounts are wiped by state processes. Grave cobbling has stopped stolen identity and deleted dead profile. Interesting. Now what's the timeline looking like? So the time of death was 9 p.m. at the autopsy. Do we have a timeline for the rest of the night's events? Can't trust what comes out of his mouth, but I've managed thanks to less biased sources. And we're pretty confident about what we've been able to piece together from their statements. So they interviewed witnesses. Sounds eerily similar to real police work. Oh, hey. Cool eye. Suspect and his girlfriend were really arguing loudly with one another starting around 8 p.m. Neighbors were very clear about that part. Couldn't wait to tell us all about the happy couple's domestic problems. Everyone in the building knew they'd been fighting for weeks. As you probably gathered from what you saw in the arcs, there was a struggle. Furniture turned over, glass shattered. Things go quiet sometime before 9 p.m. And then there's a gunshot. Scrubbers are still scrubbing, looking for audio from the area to get a timestamp. We heard enough of concerned citizens to be pretty damn sure about the time. Right. Emergency services got a burst of calls from the block shortly after 9 p.m. No one seemed to recognize the sound for what it was, but the sounds that followed was pretty universally alarming. Just gonna take a look at that. The process of macro scraping all unencrypted data at a given time and place refers to the process of scouring all using the common technique of this department's corporate investigative education public relations firms. Actually, the practice spike considered a main proposition. After indicated voters rarely have a strong opinion of the process. Interesting. Officers arrive on the scene at 9 p.m. Oh, shit. Officers arrive from the scene at 9:08 p.m. Establish a perimeter. Enter through the front door at 9:10. Oh. She's about to say. And then they find your client, crouched over his dead girlfriend, his hand covered in her blood. At which point they move to secure the scene and the suspect. Sorry, did you say his hand? Singular? Client's modded. Cybernetic right arm. I knew it! I'm out of to be talking about here. Registered with HAL 85 habilis, industrial grade, looks like. Looks like he's spec'd for dexterous manipulation of up to class 4 KPA, which means a minimum grip strength of, well, basically, he can crush your neck without even gritting his teeth. Body modifications, aka mods. So many processes, neural enhancements. Modification would see throughout the history of cloud control, which body modification movement is differentiated by a shift from intrinsic factors. Extrinsic motivators, job testing, much about the move that body. Directly mods have been classified based on which section of the user's spinal cord. Interesting. The system does not account for mods which directly interact with the human brain. Increased prevalence of so-called above-the-neck modding in recent years. I do like that based on the spinal cord thing. That's cool. Can you return mods? Can you undo mod surgery? Best reviewed neural implants. A suspect was taken by lab techs to digital analysis, but it is just show blood on the left sleeve arm, which is that of the victim. How industrial habilis posted across a combination of grip strength tax and low maintenance. Interesting. Success of it and its sister products went a long way towards securing the state contracts for How Industries. Considering a career change? No, it's not that. It's just your eye must be very sensitive for you to put the patch back on each time. In here, I thought you just had 14 years old sense of fashion. You think a cop would cover up her dominant eye because it was fashionable? I actually thought the same thing when we first met. You what? Getting back on track. That arm has been in the shop for some time now. Can't work without it. Money got tight. The arguing? Yeah. When did he put his arm on for repairs? 8 days before HK's first victim was killed. Well, no chance to be willing to chalk that up to a coincidence. The client was arrested at the scene after a preliminary scan found his fingerprints on the revolver, and no one else's. A revolver? What kind? The old kind. The real old kind. More specifically, a caliber M56. 54. 6-chamber, 10mm. Caliber? How? Retro. You don't know the half of it. We're talking steel chamber, real gunpowder, mechanical firing pin, and no tags. No tags? How's that? How old are we talking here? Yeah, 24/7 location data, timestamp trigger pulls, safety's coded to owner biometrics. The past 3 decades, tags have made shooting crimes very unambiguous. So you're claiming my client used some kind of antique to commit these crimes? Oh. How else do you think he would have gotten away with it 5 other times? If you try to buy a gun legit, you'd probably fail the very first psych check. And even jailbroken pieces are only good for so long before update withdrawal sets in. So then M54, that's model year 2054. 30-year-old gun. Well, that sure complicates things, doesn't it? In some ways, sure. But pre-tag and firearms are rare. Maybe less than 1,000 of them left in the whole country. A few are still compatible bullets. The ammunition would have to be over 30 years old too. The novelty of this weapon has kept us in the dark so far. But now that we have our hands on it, I'm going to put him away for good. It's going to put him away for good. Caliber firearms. Manufacturer of Civi firearms from 2031 to 2062, when it was bought out by Thortec, an acquisitions group specializing in security and national defense, now subsidiary of the Lock-On Defense Corporation. But no guns have borne the caliber branding since production halted in 2016. The once iconic brand was briefly revived in 2071, Q2, with a series of video game memorabilia tie-in promotions and to increase in-game sales before they discontinued 2071 Q3 for failing to increase in-game item sales. Caliber bears fingerprints matching Carlos Backer's flat left hand with a 99.91% certainty. Rifling marks match the bullet that pierced the victim with a 99.97 certainty. Rifling marks that match bullets from previous and matches for any other archived forensic data as far back as 2059. Archive department complained loud as hell about how deep they had to dig. But with protocols they found, the techs were able to match the rifling marks with all 6 bullets to the gun your client was found with. Rifling marks? Now this I do actually know about. Bullets fired from guns that old are marked by the barrel shape. So if all 6 bullets had the same rifling marks, we know that they were all fired with the same gun. Not as plug-and-play as tags are, but it's equally precise science, I assure you. And if that's not damning enough, spent casings from the other 5 shootings are still in the chamber. Without even needing to reload. Caliber your client was found with is the gun HK used to kill 6 women. No way, note to lawyer around that. An untied gun. Just being anywhere near a weapon like that could warrant your arrest. Being found by the police over a dead body with an untied gun used at 5 other crime scenes is just... To summarize then, he believed that my client fought verbally, then physically with his girlfriend, and then he retrieved this weapon and shot her. Yeah, pretty much. Okay. Even if the others were rehearsals, quote unquote, why do the fight then? There's no reason for him to have done the quote unquote rehearsals if he was just going to fight and then do the same. It doesn't make sense. How did he look when the officers found him? Guilty. How was his effect? Quiet, detached, stiff. Not exactly the picture of a grieving partner. Does match shock though. He actually may have lost him some points with the cops, but beyond that, he'll react to loss in all kinds of unusual ways. So long as the police are suspicious of you, there's no right way to grieve. Thanks for the chat, detectives. I think I understand the background well enough now. Candidly, I see the same strokes you do, and the picture it paints is unpleasant. But even so, it seems a bit unrefined to be brought before a judge, don't you think? Hey, it's only our job to catch the bastard. The DA is the one who gets the conviction. Besides, we're not exactly going to have to work hard to convince anyone of his guilt. And why is that? Because we found a handwritten confession. Of course he did. Of course he found a confession. Well, that's, unexpected. I'm sorry, you're only now telling me he wrote a confession? Has it been verified? Not yet. You have to muscle past everyone in fraud and disinfo to get to the front of the line. Why bother? The note's covered in his fingerprints. There's a copy in the discovery data, but I warn you, doesn't exactly make for light reading. I want to manage somehow. You need to see his confession for myself. Oh my god. Oh, okay. No. Sorry for everything. Can't say it enough. Didn't mean to hurt you or do what I did. Did not want any of that to happen. Did not want any of that to happen. Can't stay in control when I get mad. When I'm not in control, I hurt people without meaning to. Wish I hadn't broken them. Didn't mean to at first, but I was hurting. Wanted you to hurt too, but didn't want to hurt you. Words aren't enough, I know that now. Take responsibility and do what I've been avoiding. Please forgive me. Did not, didn't. That was difficult to read. Barely legible, in fact. Well, got a spin on that. No need. But it's a confession. Not a confession that he signed, though, is it? Not yet. And not one he intends to sign anytime soon, considering that he asked for representation. Yeah, the most wanted man in the city asked for a lawyer, and got you. Guess you're both lucky. Hardly. I just happened to be awake when the call went out. But I'm not so flush with work that I can afford to turn tail now. So if you don't mind, I'd like to go and speak with my client. What? He's not still handcuffed in there, is he? Look, counselor, with all due respect, we have strong evidence pointing to that man being responsible for 6 murders. Two hours or so in cuffs ain't cruel or unusual. And that's for your safety as well. It's kind of you to worry, but I doubt I'll be any real danger. He's killed 6 women. None of them were redheads. Seriously, though, I'd like to speak with him alone now. She does... If we're going by the profile of women, brown hair, brown eyes, she does technically fit. But not more. Camera's off, if you don't mind. Mic's on or off, your call, counselor. But we'll be watching the feed from right outside in case anything happens. And the cuff, that is, stays on. That worried about me? How chivalrous. Yeah, my armor's practically blinded. Gross. Let's start the unlock cycle. Counselor, just one last word of advice. If you have any interest in his well-being, I'd suggest you help him sign that confession. Not a bad idea. I do get paid either way. But the defense, part of defense attorney, isn't just for show, detective. I mean it. 6 people dead is one thing, but he's also caused weeks of widespread terror and public unrest. Putting it another way, he's made the state look bad. That's a capital crime if there ever was one. And even if the death penalty's not actually on the table these days, I can guarantee he's not gonna like whatever rehabilitation plan they draw up for him. Look, I've seen the virtual work release program in person, and it's being challenged before the Supreme Court. Yeah, sometime in the next decade, maybe. Just remember, plea deal might feel like a loss for you, but it keeps him from, well, it's probably a win for your client, right? Prison sentences are generally lighter for those who plead guilty, that much is true. Saves the court a great deal of time and money, and they show their gratitude with reduced sentencing. But no one will ever be able grateful towards a heartbreak killer. Oh. Due to ongoing controversy following the suspected suicide of inmate Jay Galay. Woof. That bad, huh? Anyone convicted for killing 6 people will never rest their mind another day in their life. Oh, it's 2086. Okay. Pressing as hell in here. I need to liven this place up. Carlos flat, right? Hope you don't mind if I get comfortable. We got a lot to cover. But this shouldn't take all night. What are you... Look, I already told you people I didn't... I'm not a cop, Carlos. Furthest thing from it. Yeah. I'm a lawyer. You're a lawyer, in fact. And I'm here to help. Yeah, well... They said that too. All of them did. Back there, and here. Kept reading it the whole ride over. They said they were going to help me, but they knew this was all a mistake. I think it is. That was the wrong one. Nope. That's not our client, technically. Yeah. The picture isn't there, but it's him. Said they were going to help me, that they knew this was all a mistake. Then they said that I killed. Acting like they were on my side, like they thought that I could have... It's not their job to help you, Carlos. But it is mine, and I'm here now. He's still in shock. I need more information, but if I approach this the wrong way, he'll just clam up even more. I'm sure you're exhausted. It's probably difficult to think, let alone speak. But I'd like you to try and answer a few questions. The police already questioned you, I'm sure. But they were treating you as a suspect, not as a client. Okay. So what do you want to know? Let's start easy. Yeah, something mundane, grounded, rote. I'd like to know a little bit more about you first, Carlos. Something like, what do you do for work? I'm with City Engineering. Or I was, or I should be. As I thought. The police must be convinced he mapped the optics blackout using the data he stole from work. My arm, I got it slotted for the job. And, Carlos, I didn't need more than that. So what do I know? Works in City Engineering, not a desk job. Reyes said that he was modded for work, and that arm must be in custody at the moment. Based on his shoulder, it'd have to be pretty... utilitarian. Yeah. Doesn't strike me as the type who's enamored with the aesthetics of modding. The young and the restless and the rich, swapping in neon and chrome limbs because they like the way it looks. Or the way it makes other people start looking at him. No, he's pragmatic, grounded, and very unlucky. In which case, I should be too. You know, my brother wanted a mod. Really? Really? I don't even have a brother. He had everything planned out. Whole career path and promotions and bonuses and the upgrades they'd afford him. Then came his 18th birthday present. Test results politely informing him that he's not a viable candidate. That sucks. I think he felt relieved, actually. Seemed like it was a weight off his chest. Like he was glad he didn't have to choose. That make any sense? Yeah, I think it does. I always figured it'd start it all. Sorry. I always figured if I'd start it all, I'd start small. A hand or an eye. What's the water? I thought about lobbing my whole damn arm off, but the recruiter was enthusiastic. He said, because the NCDA, there was a financial aid and resources. Of course, that got shit canned, so now me and every other modder's royally screwed. Let me keep the tax credit. The New Citizens with Disabilities Act was amended, not repealed. But I did appreciate the distinction at the moment. I worked the tighter spaces, the high-volt environments, mostly canopy upkeep. Typical stuff for modders, you know? He's speaking freely now. You don't need to do much more than repeat his words back to him and keep him talking. But the right word choice here or there can still make a difference. You work on the canopy, you must be... See, I got that, but getting the bonus one isn't always great. But I think in this case it would be. Yeah, under a lot of pressure. It must be under a lot of pressure now that the subways are cordoned off. Yeah. Damn straight. And this crap with Long? Once word got out the case against him was real, every desk job in the chain became terrified of their own shadow. All of them convinced that internal affairs is going to come knocking if they misplace so much as a paperclip. Everything by the book means no room for compromise, no room for problem solving. No room for engineering? Yeah. No patience for screw-ups. I'm trying very hard not to look at his shoulder. Why aren't you wearing your prosthetic right now, Carlos? Yeah, that. Rejection issues starting last month. A lot of sleepless nights. Rejection? Did the therapy not take? It's not like that. It wasn't oozing pus out of my sockets or anything. Gross. What kind of therapy are they talking? Body modification therapy. Massive adjustment of the human mind, the body for the unique challenges and stresses that come with cybernetic body modifications typically includes physical therapy, mental technique instructions, sensitivity training. Depending on the individual's visibility and lack thereof, medications and even minor viral tuning would be employed to modify the body's immune response. The improvements made in the recent years of medical sterile alloys have greatly reduced the percentage of patients that require such treatment. Interesting. Not like I'm oozing pus out of my sockets or anything. Then do those rejection issues have anything to do with your scars? I don't know what you're thinking. I'm right-handed. So these cuts on your face are just shaving? Never thought this would go so long I'd have to relearn how to do everything. I mean, the problem started small. Trembling. Spasms. Just oversensitivity, they said. Easy fix. More problems got bigger. Couldn't get it that far. You need to be able to trust your own hands when you're on the job site. Drop a cutter at the wrong moment and people could get hurt. So I sat down, made an appointment, turned in my arm, and watched my case get placed in the back of the damn line. Where'd you turn it in? Some masked turnaround chop shop with a waiting list like you wouldn't. Doesn't sound like you're a happy customer. Hell no! I've found a dozen other clinics with shorter wait times. But as long as I'm renting and not owning, the manufacturer decides where your arm gets maintenance. That's why I'm sitting here with this expensive-ass stump for a shoulder. He didn't have it. Submitted 5 weeks ago at how partnership proceeded. Average waitlist duration of 40 business days due to user reports and issues. So he didn't have it at the time of the other murders, right? Okay, so the fingerprints are his fingerprints are on the gun. Which hand are they? Because that's very important. Well, I guess the arm with fingerprints, right? I haven't been able to work in weeks. Bosses were generous enough to say my position might still be here when I got 2 working arms again. You can buy or rent a replacement yourself just in the meantime. I serve at the pleasure of the state. I got exclusivity contracts with Hindi, all locked up white knuckle tight. Hindi? How Industries? Is the world in here? And we're hiring. Archivists, programmers, salespeople, and college graduates with degrees and stitches. As I recall, he's registered with one of their Habilis models. I took one step on site with uninsured tech. Forget the fines, I lose the down payment and my arm. I'd never work in the city again. This is the last quarter, maybe I could have worked something out with management, but like I said, no one's taking their neck out for anyone, neither lungs and deep hot shit. You mentioned discomfort. Are you in any pain? Yeah, now it's up there. Likes airports, worn shoes, firm beds, cabs, musicals, cashiers. Oh, he sounds like a nice guy. He likes the poppy. Student debt sizable. Luck for. Like I'll say, bro. Hold on, I gotta go look something up. English. That was the poppy, right? Yeah. Interesting. Did you guys know flowers mean things when you put them in bouquets? Very interesting. You know any pain? Pain will come and go. The itchiness that kills you. Boy, don't I know it. And the phantoms come back pretty fast that I don't have anything arm shape attached to me. Didn't they give you something to, well, wear in the meantime? Something the clinics lend out in cases like this? What they gave me is a deadweight, pre-jointed, landfill babe piece of shit. Sorry, it's a very shitty feeling having a part of your body that, you know, they cut corners on. It fits, it's compatible, technically. You can slot it in and feel on balance again. Fingers don't even bend, and the quick twitch motors are way off. Like walking around with your arm asleep or dead. So, yeah, phantom limb pain, yeah. Pain or discomfort that the brain experiences, the stimulus stops being part of the longer. Interesting. Phantom visions. Faulty installation on cybernetic eye mods resulting in periodic electrical discharges across the retina. Ugh. My mod hurts. Mod are itching. Is my arm haunted? I've actually been very curious personally about like what Phantom Limb must feel like. It's very interesting in like a morbid fascination kind of way. So there's a part of me that is like, it would be very interesting personally to have an arm like cut off to experience that, but that requires a whole litany of things that I am not prepared to adjust my whole life around. So were you wearing it when? Let's be gentle. When you were arrested? Were you wearing it when you were arrested? No, I wasn't. I'm pretty sure the police. I saw the police bagging it as evidence, so kind of gone too far. Can I see the shitty arm? Yeah. Oh man, that is a piece of shit. In affordable models, customers frequently cite use of finger articulation and quick touch movements. While that was provided this model was in bills as being repaired, but he claims to rarely wear it. Currently in police custody. Kind of gone too far. So Detective Reyes is being quite literal about how he was found. He had the victim's blood on his left arm only, because at the time in question, he didn't even have it right. No inconsistencies in the story so far, and he's opened up about as well as can be expected. But this has all just been a warm-up for the both of us. Now comes the delicate part. Carlos, you and the victim were romantically involved. How long did you two know each other? Right. I've known her since college. We shared a few classes, some mutual friends. Always got along. Eventually we just got together at some point. Guess I never really asked her out the real formal way. Yeah, that'll happen sometimes. Sounds pretty cowardly saying that out loud. Yeah. It can make anniversaries very tricky, let me tell you. Diane, she's a buzz in genetics. Focused her studies on agriculture. It always takes them a few minutes to get used to saying past tense. Just finished her postgrad work this year. Got hired right out the gate. Practically headhunted. Can you believe that? Practically headhunted. Of course she was. Any company would be lucky to have her, unlike... It was a real-ass job. Paid real-ass money, too. So her career is starting to pan out. Right as yours had fallen into the mother of all slumps. Where was she hired? Pedigree? No. Peregrine Laboratories. Say it like the name matters. The whole setup's under Harco's umbrella. That really doesn't narrow it down. The Harvest Corporation grows a third of soybeans and corn in the entire country. One client that size, the lab wouldn't need any others. Now, no corporation earns the mega prefix without a little throat cutting. But Harco, that is big as tame, is about as tame as big business can get. Predictable like the seasons. No one's gonna buy that they had some lab tech murdered because of corporate greed. Had she adjusted well to her new job? Yeah, loved having her there. She never mentioned any arguments or disputes? Corporate politics getting rough? I don't think so. I feel like I've been a good listener lately. But I never got the impression that she... Look, no one I know could do this to her. There's nothing she could have done that would deserve... Oh. Hold on. I just connected some thoughts. Not the autopsy, where is it? The note. A handwritten note that's barely legible. If he was right-handed... Fuck, even with the prosthetic, that might have been hard. But if he was right-handed, it could have been very difficult for him to write all this down. Interesting. Wish it hadn't broken down. I just haven't. Can't stay in control when I get mad. I'm actually happy. There's nothing she could have done that would deserve what happened to her. It was a long shot hoping for a disgruntled character from her past to shift the blame onto. But with no other suspects, I can't just reshuffle the detective's suspicions. I have to disprove their argument entirely. Thank you, Carlos. That was very helpful. It was. Now I'd like to try and tell me whatever you can about what happened tonight. Oh. Start at the beginning and take your time. The details are important. All right, Miss Morgan. I'll try, Morgan. Whenever you're ready. We were arguing. We've been arguing a lot, actually. Arguing about stupid stuff. I haven't been working, haven't been making money. I haven't been pulling my weight. I was mad at myself. But more than that, I was jealous of her. Jealous over nothing. Jealous of her goddamn money. The report said that you were arguing around 8 p.m. 8? Yeah, it must have been when we started. We got into it and I said a lot of things I shouldn't have. And I said one thing that I really, really shouldn't have. I crossed the line and we both knew it, so I left. You left? Yeah, walked out the front door. Thought some fresh air might help me cool off. Makes sense? Help me figure out what to say to make it up to her. Of course, the air wasn't fresh, just humid. Thick like mud. While I was pissing away the time, Diane was... Did you bring your phone with you? Or any other electronics? No. I kind of stormed off. Didn't even take my key fobs. Didn't even lock the door behind me. With objects down, traffic and street level cameras won't help them. That leaves... Did you go through a checkpoint and talk to anyone with modded eyes? Did you buy anything, cash or credit? No, not even a vending machine. Not even a damn vending machine, huh? May have been my match. How can anyone be this unlucky? That's quite unfortunate. I just wanted quiet at the time. I wanted to wallow in it, really. Sorry if I don't have all the details quite right. My head is... But if my exact route would help, but the cam's probably... What? What is it? Do I tell him? Optics was what? Did that even happen? There's no other proof that you were out at the time Diane was killed. Meaning you have no alibi. That isn't... This can't... Listen, I didn't do this. I could... Carlos? I'm the one person you don't have to try and convince. After all, I'm your lawyer. So let's just get it out, let's get it all out there and see what we've got to work with. Right. Now you said you left to clear your head. What made you come back? I came back because I heard a noise. A loud noise. Didn't know what it was. But it was loud and it scared me. It came from the direction of our apartment. I was walking back at first. At some point I must have started running, because when I got back I was so out of breath. And when I saw that the front door was open, something dropped in my chest and my lungs wouldn't... You lived on the first floor, right? Yeah, the first floor apartment, street-facing entrance. I'm proud of that when I first moved in. It was some kind of big deal. From the hallway I saw her, but I didn't realize. I never thought that she was... The lights were off, the whole room was a mess. I thought we'd been robbed, or she'd fallen, or... There was broken glass, furniture knocked over. And she was... I called her name and she didn't move. I checked her pulse and she was still warm. Her blood was warm. And I saw the gun. It looked so heavy. But I thought it had to be fake because I didn't want it to be real. Is that why you picked it up? What? Pick it up? I didn't touch that thing. I didn't shoot her, damn it. Doing what I do, you hear a lot of lies. White lies, blatant lies, hasty lies. Bad lies, especially. For me, it's always been easy to spot a lie. But it can be hard to know what to do about it. I have all the proof I need in my files, but he's nervous and defensive. And none of this works if he doesn't trust me. Ooh. Stay up to date on the details of all evidence by checking your phone. Oh, yeah, I've been doing that, yeah. You don't have to tell me. They'll stop giving you any credit. Oh. Did I read that right? Did I skip something? Oh. You did touch the gun, Carlos. That's a fact because hold on. I need to hold on. Save load settings. Quit. Shit. Ah. And whatever. You did touch the gun, Carlos. That's just a fact because you were found with it. It's registered to you. You got your prints on it, brother. It's the fact that your fingerprints are on the gun. What? But I didn't do this. I didn't. I wasn't thinking. I was just. Carlos, all I'm saying is that you picked it up. That's it. Would you believe me if I said I didn't realize it was a gun? He explains how his prints got on it, but not in a way that would satisfy the police. Still, all I did was hold the gun. It's stupid. I know what a gun looks like. Seeing it in my own home, right in front of... You were in shock, Carlos. You still are. The police came in sometime after that. I don't remember much of what they said. Things started moving fast, it seemed like. Hold on, I want to see the jacket again. She had blood on the left sleeve, matches that of the victim. It wouldn't be on the right either. Okay. Rest of my night went probably the way you'd expect. Carlos, you admit to having a verbal argument with Diane, but you said you were surprised to see the room trashed when you got back. To clarify, you're saying that you two never had a physical fight. What? Physical? We never fought. We never fought like that. Did the police say we did? They assumed as much. Which means they also assumed the room was disheveled well before the shooting occurred. Considering what Carlos told me, what else did they assume? What is it? I'd like you to take a look at something for me. It's the crime scene. Oh. It's an AR module built from the data taken as the police entered, so... Right, it's just that... It's just data, Carlos. No grisly details. Okay. Let me see it. Take your time. Think I got it. That's how the police found things. Now close your eyes and think back to how the room looked when you left. Try and focus on what's out of place. Alright. I'll take notes. You just say whatever comes to your mind. I don't exactly remember where everything was. But, well, the mirror was upright, of course. And that clock was still on the wall. The chair got knocked over at some point, and the bed got tossed. Cushions torn. And the urn fell. Other than that... Urn, you say? No. Sorry, that's all that stands out to me. I see. Like so? We got ourselves an artiste here, boys. What's wrong? Something out of place? Carlos, you need to trust your instinct. If anything seems off, don't be afraid to speak up. It's just, I guess I just assumed your notes would be making edits to the AR? Well, I guess that works too. Sorry, I didn't mean... I think your drawing was pretty good, considering... I'd like to change the subject now, Carlos. Right. I'd like to look at that new evidence. The mirror was upright, the clock was on the wall, the chair got knocked over, the bed got tossed, the cushions torn. Bed got tossed and the cushions torn. Can I see the crime scene again? I really want to see the... Whatever. Let's talk about the letter that was found on your desk. Letter? What do you mean? I mean this letter here. Do you recognize it? because the police are calling it a confession. Confession? But this is just a note to self. What? Look, when we fight, I lose my temper, say things I didn't mean to. So this morning I tried to write things down so I'd have a script to stick to. So I could apologize to her instead of just fighting with her. Carlos, you say in the note that you hurt them. I broke her fidget tubbies. Her what? Her what? Her fidget tubbies. They're these little and what's your vibe? They're these collectible ceramic character thing. Oh. They're supposed to be like tactile? You use them as paperweights, sir. Conversation starters. Conversation starters. She loved those things. They're not worth a damn. You can buy them at any flea market or garage sale, but they meant a lot to her. Nope, not those ones. These ones. Ceramic. And indeterminate origin. And I broke them. Pulverized by the replacement arm. Interesting. Evidently an acquired taste. I mean, I was busy at the time, but the goddamn piece of shit rental arm, I hardly know where I'm swinging it half the time. I was so angry, I just ripped it off and tossed it in my room. Cheap, dusty, worthless. Okay, let's say he did break her frigid duckies with his replacement arm. What does that change? Nothing at the moment. There's not enough detail in the note for me to prove what his intent was when he sat down to write it. But if the police insist on claiming it's a confession for the Heartbreak killings anyway, didn't even bother to sweep him up. I felt so... Alright, Carlos. Thanks for answering my questions. Now I'm going to call the police back in here and I'm going to get this cleared up for you. What? That's it? Carlos discarded it in the frustration after smashing into the victim's collectibles and hasn't worn it since. Interesting. That's it? That's it? Oh. Okay. Although, before I do that, I do have to ask, what do you know about the Heartbreak Killer? Heartbreak? You mean that psycho that was trending all month? I mean, as much as anyone, I guess. They haven't been getting out much, but I'm sure everyone's on edge, kind of like that out there. He shoots people through the heart, right? The police had kept his victim's appearances far away from any upstanding news sources. So unless he was already following the murders, Carlos wouldn't notice any resemblance to his girlfriend. I mean, she was shot in the chest, but that's just... It doesn't mean anything, does it? If he's this low on the uptake, it's going to be a real shock when those officers walk in here and accuse him of being a serial killer. I'll just have to squash that theory as quickly and definitively as possible. I wish I was paying attention to the time to figure out how long we spent in there. I didn't realize you could smoke in here. Technically, I can smoke wherever I want. For a fee. Smoking in a non-smoking area? Holy shit. I guess so. Nervous? Don't be. I'm the one who's on the clock. Right. I'm sure this isn't your first time doing this. No, of course not. It'll be my first homicide defense, though. Oh. Why does everyone always think the first time's so goddamn important? Hey, cheer up. I got relevant experience in other areas. Oh. And, what other areas are those? You ever gamble, Carlos? No, ma'am. Never go anywhere near loot boxes. Won't touch the stuff. I meant more like playing cards. Oh. Well then, the note of that too. Actually got pretty terrible luck. Could have fooled me. Well, what I do is a lot like poker, Carlos. Poker's nice because, if you're dealt nothing but crap all night long, you could still win. Which makes things pretty fun. Okay, so, you Got a good poker face? I like to think so. And are you lucky? Only when the stakes are high. And, in this metaphor, we're playing poker. And the state's the dealer? If only. No, the state's more like the house. You mean like the house always wins? Yep. They're very good at it. Winning, I mean. That's why they're up there, and we're down here. That's why they're the house. So what do? We play the cards we're dealt as best we can. Win more hands than we lose. Keep it up, and eventually, someone will come over, tap the dealer on the shoulder, and whisper something in their ear. And then we'll be politely asked to leave. That doesn't sound very triumphant. The house always wins. So our definition of victory is more like, don't lose. Thanks, Morgan. But I guess I was asking more like, what should I say? Just leave the talking to me. So that's a strategy. What's up? You know there's a saying about gamblers with strategies? Yo, ready to confess yet? Because I already woke up the DA. Already? She must be new. District attorneys have the final say on whether or not the case gets brought to trial. Only fair, since they're the ones who end up having to actually prove the damn thing. Most of them prefer simply guilty pleas over long, protracted trials. And they all dislike having their time wasted. Unfortunately, then you'll have to call them back. Because my client is not guilty. And frankly, I'm not even sure you have enough to hold him here. Right. What she said. You got a weird sense of humor, counselor. Different generations, I guess. Before my time, kind of thing. I'm very serious when it comes to defending a man's innocence, detective. Counselor, we have your client's written confession. His written confession. Why don't we start there? Yeah. Oh, there. Yeah, okay. Thank you. His written confession. Let's start there. Okay, we'll be happy to. The thrust of every argument starts with the facts, what's already known and agreed upon. Public knowledge for every player at the table. It's pretty simple, counselor. Real paint-by-number stuff. See, we found a note at his apartment, with his fingerprints on it, apologizing for how he hurt them all so bad. Now, how are you planning on spinning that? Those are the facts. But I've been building up my hand all night. And now I got weapons to answer everything they throw at me. Well? My client did in fact write that note, and it was in fact an apology. But not for murder. He was apologizing for... Drag and drop the card that best answers the argument. You can mess over your opponent's portrait, yeah. Oh. He wrote a confession, okay. Ceramic crap to your western window. This. He was simply apologizing for this. The hell is that? I found myself asking the exact same question. What are we looking at here? Something from the crime scene? This diagram of the room. It's created from data you captured, right? Pure non-GMO augmented reality crime scene data, yeah. What's non-GMO? Not much these days. Notice anything out of place? Yeah, the whole room's full of busted shit. It's the scene of a murder. Full of busted shit, sure. But I was more referring to the unidentified ceramic debris found on the western side of the room. The hell is that? Ceramic debris, huh? Must be from the vase that got tossed. Actually, that's not possible. Oh, because that vase wasn't damaged. It's not possible for the debris to have come from the vase, because that vase is still pristine. How is that? How is that possible? How's that possible? Come on. The lady at the garage sale told me that was so old and delicate. Damn it. One time I tried thrift shop on my own. Well, so what? What does it even matter? The vase doesn't have a scratch on it. And the debris must have come from somewhere else. The debris is what my client wrote that apology over. You're saying that confession was his apology for not vacuuming? I am. Because that pile of rubble is all that remains of the victim's collection of fidgetubbies. Yeah, that. Mr. Flat broke the victim's ceramic figures by accident. And this impassioned note to self was just his attempt at scribbling out an apology. Can you prove that? We're taking this seriously? Much as I wish we weren't. We're all in agreement that McCrier wrote the note. And we can plainly see that the ceramic debris at the crime scene. Now, since it couldn't have come from the vase, it must have come from the collectibles. Those things. Simple, right? The hell are you on about? The entire room was trashed. As the arcs clearly shows. Those fidget tubbies must have gotten pulverized during the struggle, too. You're really going to claim he sat down to write an apology for breaking her toys after gunning her down? Not a bad train of thought, but I can do better. No, those collectibles were destroyed much earlier than that, and there's proof. It'd be the arm, right? Yeah. The rental. Ciao. Just take a closer look at the rental you took into custody. Huh? One swipe of your fingers would show exactly how devastating it would be to the fickle buddy ecosystem. It's fidget tubbies. Whatever. You did take it into custody. I'm sure your techs found ceramic debris on it, yeah? Now that you mention it. Fine, whatever. He broke him with his arm. While he was killing her. Happy? Overjoyed, because even a cheap man's arm got an operating system that locked the last time it was worn, right? Right. See, I happened to spot a footnote in the lab report. Said the rental hadn't been used since the AM. Whose side do you want, old man? It's gotten pretty late, sunshine. Just trying to save us all some time where I can. Thank you for your service. Well, thank you for your service. Are you seriously buying this crap? Dude, look at how scrawled, how panicked that note is. You expect me to believe that he was upset over a fidget tubby collection? One that isn't even been graded? What? Setting aside detectives raise a surprising depth of knowledge when it comes to collectibles. You're correct. They held no real monetary value. It would be odd for Carlos to be so shaken over the loss. But so what? So what? After all, it's not panic you're seeing on that page. No, the only reason the note looks the way it does is because Carlos is right-handed. Yeah, I am. Did they not know that? Shouldn't that be on my permanent record or something? So the reason why the note looks all asylum wall scribbles is just because he had to use his left hand to write it. I tend to think better when I'm typing. I tend to think better writing than typing. And I need to get used to using my left anyway. Just thought it could be good practice. Taking that into account alongside the ceramics, your slam-dunk confession is looking about as watertight as a fishnet. Okay, fine. Forget about the confession. Congratulations, counselor. You've established that your client's remorseless. Now let's get back to the reality of the situation. Here's the facts. We found your client at the scene of the crime, wearing a coat covered in the victim's blood, right next to the big old goddamn gun. Just so happened to have his fingerprints on it. That's right. The coat is... What, you gonna claim it's not his? That he actually wears an extra small? She's trying to bait me in her typical low-key fashion. As arguments flow, you won't always have the stronger hand. Sometimes the best you can do is hold your tongue and avoid overcommitting. Try to lose as little credit as possible and wait for the more favorable chance. She must have something. No sense playing into it. Something you'd like to ask me, detective? I'm just curious. What'll it be next? You gonna tell me he actually wears an extra small? Oh, I can't even raise if I wanted to. He doesn't wear an extra small. A double SS. Gee, Carlos, do you? No. Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure there's no evil twin you've forgotten to mention? Also gonna stay again. Nope, afraid not. Not even gonna go for a mysterious third party at the scene of the crime? Prove his innocence, we need to get there eventually. going there now without hard evidence. Oh, you could raise it, but can you prove a third party? I think even looking at all the evidence that I have. Debris, pill organizer, or plan. What was it, the pill organizer? Reduce moderate to severe discomfort arising from mild sensitivity. Debris, attach your report that shines means. I have probable cause for the fact that there could have been a third party because he left the door unlocked, right? But we don't actually know or have hard evidence that somebody actually came in and did that. I think. I'm going to just not yet. I have no evidence of a third person at this time. Damn right you don't. It's clear as day in the arts. No evidence of anyone but Carlos being there that night. So keep dreaming. Because obviously had something there. I wasn't going to win that hand either way. At least I didn't overstep and take any more damage than I had to. We're not contesting any of that, Detective. My client freely admits to holding that gun. He picked it up in confusion after coming home finding a brutal crime scene. Which was not smart. Hey, but not illegal either. And that's all? He had her blood all over his clothes. Yes, he did. Right. You have those clothes on hand, by the way. Labs finished with them a while ago. What are you getting at? It'll be easier just to show you. Would you mind getting them for me? You know what? Sure, I could use the fresh air. Stinks bullshit in here anyway. Here I thought the room smelled like... Regan, what are you doing? My clothes covered in her blood. I remember that much. So it doesn't, make me look really bad. Just relax, Carlos. I'm pretty sure that's impossible. You're innocent. And that means that having more evidence will always help you, not hurt you. Really? Really? Not really. Plenty of innocent people in prison. People with bad luck or bad lawyers. People shouldn't count the truth to come out easy. More often than not, it takes coaxing. What was it reminded me of? Alright, here it is. One bloodstained jacket, fresh from the lab. So what's your angle? Blood on the sleeve, or the signals of any forensic significance. Or the details of any forensic significance found. Are you gonna tell us this was actually just hot sauce? No. That would be silly. She actually thought it over. So what the hell's your point? Hey! Sorry, just got thrown up by a turn of good fortune. What good fortune? You should thank the detective for bringing out your jacket, Carlos. You're just proving your innocence. My client was arrested wearing this coat. He would have been wearing it at the time of the murder. It has the victim's blood on it, who we know died when she was shot in the heart. By a gun that happens to be an old-world pre-tagging firearm. And so this coat proves that it couldn't have been the shooter. Is there a gas leak in here? In what world does that make any sense? Sense happens to be the key here. I just need to draw their attention to what they can. Smell? What you smell in the coat with your nose, what you can feel the coat with your hands, what you can see the coat with your eyes. Okay, I know I said I'd only do it the one time. But I'm pretty sure it's C. But they were mentioning smell earlier. I'm gonna say it's C though. Just tell me what you see. See a coat with a lot of dead woman blood on it. And you? Oh shit. Oh. That's not gonna work. Truth is plainly there, but it's not the kind of detail you can see with your naked eye. Smell them. Do me a favor. Tell me what you smell. I don't smell anything except dry blood. Exactly. Goat smells like blood, but it doesn't smell of cigarette. That's what I've been smelling. Yes, Detective London. I was smoking earlier. Could you rejoin the conversation? I'm listening. You wanted me to smell the jacket? If you would. Let's see. Oh. Does it smell like cigarettes? No gunpowder. What? What about gunpowder? Oh, don't blame yourself for not noticing. This was before your time. You can't be more than a few years older than me. But not before your partners, it seems. See, gunpowder is weak by today's standards, but it's still volatile stuff. Hard to store, prone to misfiring. And when it goes bang, it leaves behind an awful lot of evidence. Hell is she talking about, London? Modern firearms like the ones we carry use electricity, magnetism, even air pressure or sound waves. They got more accuracy, more firepower, less recoil, less noise. And they don't leave behind any residue. Gunpowder residue. You talked my ear off about how difficult it is tracking down a gun that doesn't leave digital traces. But a revolver like this one, it'd leave gunpowder on the skin of whoever fired it for days. So then his coat. If you don't trust your noses, you can check the lab reports. I think if they found any gunpowder on my client or on his clothes that have taken the time to highlight it. Oh yeah. It did say there was no other thing of significance there. Well, whatever. It just means he washed it off after shooting her. He changed his clothes. That's not impossible. Would be pretty pointless. Huh? His jacket and his left hand were blood-soaked when the officers found it. Would he really go through all the trouble just to get rid of something as subtle as gunpowder residue? Just to get the victim's blood all over himself afterwards? That's my favorite. There's like a lot of extra little things they do to the characters. Earlier, her eyes were sparkling when she was doing the drawing. I like the ones that are just going to drop a single thing on your head. In light of these details, I'd like to formally request that you reconsider the charges Mr. Flatt is facing as soon as possible. Whoa. They're faltering now. Should topple over any moment. The letter is mostly icing on the cake for them. But that gun is all they had to link Carlos to any of the shootings. So if it looks like he never actually fired the gun, I'll admit things were a little dicey there at times. But once I was able to grasp the situation, smaller pieces fell into place easily enough. Not my cleanest work by far, but overall I'd say. Did she just get a message? Wait, did they actually manage to find it? Something you'd like to share, Detective Reyes? You're good. Twisting the truth into knots, making the facts work for you. Thanks. But your luck just ran out. Because the next Netscrapers found a cam active at the exact moment of the shooting. And right now, I'm staring at a photo of the killer. Yeah, you want to bet? A photo of the shooter. If she had that, we wouldn't still be talking. But I doubt she's pulling this out of her ass. She's got something from the scrubbers. Fuck it, we'll raise. She must be bluffing. She must have something. Oh. I think she's bluffing. But I have nothing to back that up, in case she does actually have a picture of him. You're not bluffing, she just got a text, presumably from the lab. But is it actually... What did she say about it? The net scrubbers found a cam active at the exact moment of the shooting. Can I check? Hard data victim, code revolver, flat statement. Profiles, reading this maybe? It's a band. Evidence. Search terms? Arts. No. Optics. Opticals down at the time. It was just private. I have a lot of credit, but I don't know exactly what I need it for. No, I haven't erased yet. Might as well see where it takes us. That's a bold bluff for this late in the game, detective. Especially when we both know that there was an optics blackout during the shooting. Well, that's just it. This isn't from optics. Yeah, I knew it. I knew it wasn't going to be from optics. Ah, damn it. Should figure you want to make a claim that bold without something to back it up. Well, that's not very... Party's over, counselor. Feast your eyes on this. Well. Okay, the quality's lacking. And there it is. I managed to find a quarter needle of evidence in the whole city block of haystacks. What are the goddamn chances? No. But the scales their tools operate on, I guess the chances are always in their favor. It's the left hand indeed. We have a time though. That says... I'm surprised they still use digital analog clocks. That's what? 9? Alright, this isn't good, but it's a far cry from the worst case scenario I envisioned. You could even say I got lucky, which means the stakes are... Well, it's a little bit... blurry. Don't look at me, I didn't take the damn thing. Technically, no one took it. Looks like at the time of the shooting, the neighbor was on their phone. Probably vented about how crazy the couple across the way was acting. But if their phone was on, its camera would be on. And so he managed to get the shot through the window. Where to begin? Far away, unfocused, ultra-low resolution, zoomed in, blurred, color shifted, and so compressed it looks like it's from another century. There are tools that can enhance this image any further, and I can count the pixels on one hand. And you can kiss it to admissibility and court goodbye. You can't honestly claim that you're going to identify my client from this image, and there's no way in hell that you can get past a judge. Yeah, you're probably right. We couldn't. But I think I know a DA that could. Either way, doesn't seem like your client's leaving the police station anytime soon. That photo. What the hell's happening to me? I think I know a DA that could. Don't be so modest, old man. We have photo evidence of the left-handed shooter standing in the hallway at the same time the whole neighborhood heard a gunshot. And who do we know that had left-handed fingerprints all over that gun? You are referring to my client. You think? We've established he wasn't wearing his mudded arm at all tonight, so he must have shot with his left. Yes, and we've also established that he's weak with his left side. A left side that had no gunpowder whatsoever. Forensics will never be perfect, counselor. Sometimes we miss things. Sometimes you take a walk through the rain, and when you finally get to where you're going, you somehow end up dry. But it doesn't mean it didn't rain. All of which is to say, before the judge or jury, forensic evidence, photographic evidence outweighs a failed sniff test. Carlos is innocent. I know he is. But that photo shows a left-handed shooter. Carlos is innocent. That photo is real. If both are true, that means the photo doesn't show what it appears to show. So, at a loss for words, never. I'm just confused about one thing. Where was this photo taken from exactly? Exactly. Positional data is usually only accurate to the nearest public router. If we DN in the phone owners... If we DN in the phone's owner and ask them why bother with any of that? Ballistics and common sense tells us that the perp shot from the room's doorway. The front entrance to the apartment faces the south. There's a hallway that runs back to the bedroom. Oh, interesting. We're looking straight at the shooter, so it's pretty obvious that it was taken from across the north window. From the north. If this is from the north, I mean, you can clearly see that. Not that complicated. The neighbor who got there to the shot must live on the other side of the street. So we're looking into the bedroom from the north window. She's wrong. I could seize the opportunity to start turning the time. She's wrong. The photo is taken from the west. From the north. Well, why don't we take a look at that photo? Bird's eye view of the crime was discovered. Shows the northern window facing southern hallway where the shooter stood. Shows the western window facing eastern hall wall. Hey, wait a second. The clock. The camera's not set the photo. Please tell me we can see the clock. Ah, shit. Damn it. The clock. It's on the wall next to the mirror. Facing east? It's the crime scene map. If the clock was here. I wish I knew where it was. Ah. But if... Okay, let's say that the clock is here or so. It's still up. Yeah, is that maybe it on the floor there? Shit. I wish I could look at the thing again. Ah! Okay. If the clock is here, then there has to be... I'm going on faith here. I'm afraid that's simply not possible, Detective. This photo has to have been taken from the west. What kind of bluff is that supposed to be? The good detectives are misinformed here, and they need to take advantage of it. And press the initiative. The hell do you mean this is taken from the west? The autopsy tells us that the victim was shot from the doorway. Your officer's ARCS data tells us the precise location of everything in the room at the time they arrived. And now your photo has shown us the exact moment of the shooting. And... you now raise the ante on a hand to the current max. Answering wrong and you lose more credit, but answer correctly and you can bank up more credit for trickier hands down the line. And together that tells us that this photo must have been taken through the west window, as long as you consider the mirror was upright, the clock was on the wall, cushions of the bed were knees. All for the vase, the statement, the jacket. God, I hope this is right. Hold on. I haven't been using them, but it puts my mind at ease. Especially when I raised the ante so high. Let's take one look at the clock in that photo. The clock? What about it? The clock, huh? Seems like London's got the idea. If he's mistaken, I can pounce on it and keep my temper high. The photo was taken right before the shooting, so... Wait, don't tell me the time of death is wrong. He's wrong, the time of death is correct. He's right, the time of death could be wrong. Fast things, photograph, crime scene map. Code victim marked. Autopsy report. That's what I'm doing. Time of death is 9. He's wrong. The time of death is correct. It just is the morning, right? I have a thought. Okay. If the mirror is up on the wall, and that says it's 9. No. The time of death is correct, I think. I'm getting risky here, but I'm pretty sure the time of death is correct. He says, checking all his other stuff. Arcs data, victim. I want to know what 3 p.m. looked like. But I don't think we have any data on that. Flats coat, flats rental. Fidget Tubbies, the Fats David, the Flats packed out. That one he doesn't have. Flats note, the revolver. Code, the victim, the arcs data. Victim was shot from the doorway. No unexpected DNA present, no crumbs, no fingernails. We have to do the tampering. Autopsy, no glass shards. This glass from broken mirror found at the crime scene. Huh. Alright. We earned some extra scratch. Let's use it. That's a good question, Detective London. But the answer is no. The autopsy, the clock, and the neighbors all agree the time of death was 9. Right, no mistake in that. So what the hell were you on about? There's a clock on the wall in this photo. Analog style. And it reads 9 o'clock. 9 p.m., the time of the shooting. The hell's so special about that? Nothing. There's nothing odd about the time of the clock reads, but... Do you remember there being a clock in the room? What? Actually, I don't recall there being a clock. That makes sense. You wouldn't recall seeing a clock. Because when the police secured the scene, the clock had already been knocked on the floor. And the only clock in the room is in the northeastern corner. And my client has informed me that before the crime, it was hung up on the eastern wall. Like so. Really proud of her drawing skills. What the hell is that supposed to be? An artistic rendition. It's, very distinct. If you had information on the crime scene was before the shooting, why didn't you just add it to the arcs? Can I show you my hand? Just because discovery law compels us to share info. Doesn't mean we have to play fair detective. Flip my mind. I'll do that now. Yeah, there it is. The important thing is, if the clock was at the eastern wall before the shooting occurred, and this photo must be looking through the eastern window to see it. Don't get ahead of yourself. The victim was shot at 9 p.m., the same time the photo was taken of the shooter. Do you want to claim that the clock was still on the eastern wall when that could have been knocked down during the fighting? You've got your logic backwards, detective. Your precious photo shows that the room was pristine at the time of the shooting. And there's one other piece of evidence that proves exactly how the cards fell. Ceramic crab. Broken mirror at the crime scene, shards fell onto the victim. What am I trying to prove? The room was trashed before the shooting. If there are glass shards on the body, it was trashed after. Cheap, terrible, not even a scratch. But if what we're proving is that the room was trashed before, that does us nothing. Murder weapon, linked to 5 other crimes, flats fingerprints, that doesn't have anything to do with time. So remember crab near the western window. We knew that was there in the morning. So that would have already been that. So, I believe this gives us what we need. Glass shards? What about them? Nothing much, really. Only that they're on top of the victim's body. And not under it. If the glass fell on top of the victim's body, that would mean that she was dead on the ground before the room got trashed. But that doesn't make any sense. Why would anyone trash the room afterwards? It's a good question, Carlos. Luckily, it's the detectives who have to delve into the minds of the criminally insane, and not us. Tell me, detectives, were there any signs of a struggle at the other crime scenes? Other crime scenes? No, nothing like that. Those attacks would have been over in a matter of seconds. So what did you think when you saw the mess in the bedroom? If this is personal, things have gotten complicated. Shit happens. Shit does happen, detective. But in this case, it seems there's been a general misconception about the order in which shit happened. So what if the room didn't get tossed until afterwards? He still shot her. And we have a photo right here. And I'm glad you do, detective. Because that photo proves my client's innocence. Huh? Proving that it wasn't my client who pulled the trigger is difficult. And maybe more importantly for all of us, time-consuming. Thanks to your photo, I can instead prove it that it couldn't have been my client who pulled the trigger. Because the man in the photo can't possibly be Carlos. Like hell it can't! The glass shards prove that the room was pristine at the time of the shooting. And we know that until the room was tossed, that clock was at the eastern wall. Which means that this photo of the shooter was taken from the west. Back to this shit? That's impossible. The only hallway that the apartment runs from north to south. The only person with prints on the gun is your client. And the only fact of the matters is that he used it to murder 6 innocent people. You're a very honest person, aren't you, detective? Excuse me? That's why you're such a shitty gambler. But you've played your cards too early, and I can steal the pot right out from under you. You're right about the hallway's orientation. You're right about the prints. And this HK figure has claimed 6 lives. But we aren't looking at the hallway in that photo. What? What we're seeing is... I have a feeling I know what it is. Yeah. All of the time, Michelle, girlfriend, 6th HK victim. I'm gonna make another save because we're going all in on this one. I need to be certain. This is a photo of the shooter. Oh. Oh, but it can't. But we aren't looking at the hallway in that photo. This would help set. Yeah. Okay. I'm pretty sure those things. I'm almost certain this is what it is. What is that? You're trying the glass shards again? Sort of. By the way, do you recall where those glass shards came from? Yeah, sure, they came from a standing mirror. A mirror that at the time of the shooting stood across the room from the western window. But then, that would mean, at that angle, from that viewpoint, it would reflect the hallway. So we're not seeing a shooter with a gun in their left hand. We're seeing a killer take aim with their right arm. At 3 p.m. too. And, as we all well know, my client has had a working right arm in a number of weeks. And he hasn't worn his rental since this morning. So, I meant what I said about that photo. I'm glad it was recovered. Because it just proved that my client couldn't possibly have committed this crime. That should be the end of that. Except, it looked like Detective Reyes really is a novice gambler. Sunk cost has gotten its teeth into her now, clawing up her spine, whispering wounded pride in her ear. It's a cold sweat, hot palms kind of fever. The impotent, irrational fury of losing something you thought was guaranteed yours. Lucky for you, Detective. I'm well versed in shock therapy. You look dissatisfied, Detective Reyes. That's one word for it. Then allow me to put a nice bow on everything for you. In summary, my client's so-called confession was a note to self. Police found him in shock, reeling at the death of his girlfriend, and arrested him for being next to a gun he forensically couldn't have fired. After being confronted with the facts, he received photographic evidence of the exact moment of the shooting, and instead of utilizing said photo to track down the real killer, he tried to claim it depicted my client. A man without the requisite limb, standing in an architecturally impossible hallway. You could have had a backup arm. You could have stolen one. A little stubbornness can be charming, but this kind of desperation is ugly. It's getting late. It's time to bare my fangs. I'll put the music down just in case, because I feel like I'm getting drowned out a little bit. It's good track, though, so, I don't mind it. Is that the best you've got? Even a bare-bones prosthetic off the black market needs to be attuned to an individual's nervous system. He'd have to bring it to a clinic, which would have left a record on his shoulder OS, a record you won't find. and he'd still have to somehow have gotten rid of it before the police arrived. SOP at the scene of a violent crime calls for a full spectrum scanning of the entire building and 100 meters around it minimum. So where, Detective Reyes, did he manage to hide a cybernetic arm from your drones in the time between the shooting and his arrest? Well, any objections? Detective? God damn it! Oh. Ooh. This was fun. We really should do this more often, Morgan. Show me your hand, Flat. You're uncuffing me? In light of the evidence, we have no reason to hold you. Yeah. Now I gotta go call the DA. And tell her I made a mistake. Not we made a mistake, huh? Listen, kid, you should know. Detective? Lost my train of thought. But hey, your attorney's a real tiger. She just fought like hell for you. Make sure you thank her properly. Public defense doesn't pay that well. Yeah. That's kind of you to say, Detective. But my work is its own reward. Sure. I feel exactly the same, Counselor. What happens now? I have to speak with the DA about the dismissal. And there's still some paperwork we'll need to go through. But basically, you're free to go. Congrats! You get to leave the casino with your kneecaps intact. Yay? But what am I supposed to do? The detectives will continue with their investigation. Their investigation into heartbreak, huh? Yeah. When the authorities are satisfied with their examination of the body, she may hand it over to the next of kin. And then you can make communal arrangements. No, that's not what Diane being gone is bad enough. A serial killer? It's like she died of the flu. It doesn't happen anymore. People die of the flu all the time, but I know what you mean. I can't make sense of it. So what am I supposed to do? Hell if I know. There are some contacts I could give you. Services, professionals, doctors. No, you've done more than enough for me. When you got here, I was too tired to even defend myself. To try and convince them that I didn't. You saved me. Thank you. You're welcome, Carlos. But it's my job to. No, I mean, thank you for not asking. For not asking if I killed her. Oh, Carlos. I didn't need to ask. I knew you were innocent from the start. Of course he was. After all. Aha. I was wondering if we were going to get to that. Blood's always different. Heart's always in the same place. Easy to find. Hard to miss. The blood's always different. A flowering stain unfurling towards an invisible sun. A perfectly unique bloom. Only one for each of us. A Rorschach test with a singular, universal meaning. Vitality at its climax. Bursting forth into a red fractal, consisting solely of an infinite, the end. With the comical thud of a body hitting the floor as its own kind of lowbrow appeal. Well, the number 6 have got 6 of 6. Gun's empty. Useless to me now. May as well leave it. Feels like a waste, but whatever. Aha. Criminal defense attorney, high places gambling guns. Nosy people mud headphones. Batting cages Mapo Tofu. Cannot carry a tune. Interesting. Mapo Tofu, you say? Different from Morgan, by the way. Down to the likes and dislikes, too. Whatever. Finding the ammo was almost enough of a hassle to outweigh the advantages. I could sell an untagged gun for a bit of cash. Cash doesn't buy you peace of mind. Oh, don't look so surprised. Lady. Moping around in the dark in here, must have only been able to see through my silhouette. Did she think I was her boyfriend? Back for an encore of that enthralling conversation. Can't ask her now. Hey. Yeah, did you do that? These old pieces are so goddamn loud. People ain't familiar enough with the sound anymore to know to run the other way. Probably roused half the neighborhood. But I didn't see anything I could even use a partial suppressor on the way in. Are they really not afford some throw pillows? Use the other 5 bullets in outdoor spaces, small spheres of blind opportunity that city's eyes couldn't think to pierce. Cramped places, usually full of trash. But this room, as cheap as it looks, is at least clean, organized even. So the corpse has a certain satisfying contrast. Except shit on the floor. At the window, there are broken pieces of something fragile and tacky. It's fine. Just one thing out of place. Actually, it's not fine. It's actually really irritating. Kick over the stupid goddamn mirror. 5%. 5 perfect crime scenes. Each of them not a speck of evidence. Nothing. I got nothing to go on. But the final shot that just has to be some pile of shit in the corner ruining everything. Kick the wall. Something falls from it. Chase this bullshit. Toss it with the chair. Knock the urn. Tear into the sheets with my frustration and try to savor the shredding. Can't be clean. Just have to lean into the messying. At least it will be. Consistent. It was all so stupid. Honestly, I'm not the ego-driven type. In fact, I pride myself on my humility. Now, was it satisfying when the first 3 went down with single shots? Yes. But so what? I'm not made of stone. After all, I did start to actively aim for the heart, but... Ugh. Heartbreak killer? Really? Don't people have anything better to do with their time? And a miserable, lifeless voyeurs would obsess over something that's none of their own business. All the threads and breakdowns of the goddamn theory crafting. And all for the heartbreak killer? Sounds like a soap opera villain from a season where the writers were on strike. I feel insulted by the label, but... No. It's someone else's name. They came up with it. They spread it. They marketed it. Heartbreaks got nothing to do with me. He's just some reclusive, lonely, socially impotent loser who shot 6 people because... well, I'm sure people come up with something. That he got rejected 1 too many times or whatever. Me, I killed those people because I saw them and I wanted to. I killed a lot more than just 6. At least the room is thoroughly trashed now. If I just walked away after seeing that mess by the window, it would have irritated me to no end. And now that it doesn't match the MO of the last 5 perfectly, it'll irritate the cops to no end instead. Good riddance, Heartbreak. You enjoy your 15 minutes in the spotlight. Really savor it. I'm going home. Air's weighty tonight. Thick. Energized. The heavily foreshadowed summer rain I can feel on every hair. They call this kind of humidity oppressive, but I disagree. The warm tension on your skin, like in those short moments just after the shower turns off when the steam lingers. Yeah, it's always most comfortable right afterwards. Maybe there's no disagreement to be had. Oppressive things can be comforting too. Only the guilty ones run. I don't know about that. But I never felt guilty about any of this. And I walk. using my left is still. That's okay. You can just initial in those spots. I took a scenic route home, courtesy of our fine city's sprawling public transportation, and got in a bit after 11 p.m. Had myself a thorough shower, drank a glass of milk, did some stretching, made sure my phone was on. Time went by evenly. Around 1:40 a.m., a posting for public defender work came up. Decent rate since it was so late and so urgent. I had wagered correctly that the boyfriend would have enough sense to ask for a lawyer and enough debt that he needed to be provided one. And all I had to do was stay awake. There wasn't much competition after 1 in the morning. Okay, where else? Here and here. How did I phrase it earlier? Criminal defense attorneys aren't exactly flush with customers. Why wouldn't I take on a job that I already knew more about than the cops? It would have been so easy to convince Carlos to plead out. I would have gotten paid the same too. But easy is dangerous. Carlos was, of course, innocent, so his conviction would never be airtight. There'd be doubts, questions, appeals, maybe even fans depending on his looks. More attention on HK and his crimes. More headaches. Cold case rotting in the very far back of the public's awareness is always preferable to one open and shut in haste. Now, with no more murders matching HK's MO, there won't be any additional public pressure to find a culprit. Now, heartbreak can just starve to death, out of sight and mind like any other fluke in the system. I want to hear what it says about gamble. Does she mean how to start gambling, how to bet on sports on phone? A gambler with a system must be, to a greater extent, insane. Interesting. Almost done. Getting involved with this case this intimately does have its risks. Hell, I might have overdone some things here or there, like lighting up a smoke inside the interrogation room just to make doubly sure I didn't smell of gunpowder myself. That London fellow seemed more fixated on it than I would have liked. But obviously everything turned out rosy. And it's worth it for the finality of it all. Seeing the authorities' flailings from the best seat in the house, that's just a bonus. Thanks again, Morgan, for everything. I'm sure Diane is grateful too. Funny. I didn't even know her name. Something the matter? No, sorry, it's just... I was mad when I left the apartment. I know she was too. So when she died... Death was instantaneous, Carlos. I can't imagine that she was in any pain. In fact, I guarantee she was dead before she hit the ground. No, I know, but... Oh, I know, but I just keep thinking that she might have died angry at me. She might have died hating me. Do I have evidence? I'd like to go down if I can, but... To tell you the truth, Carlos, there's something I've been wondering about myself. What is it? Something I noticed in the ARC state I didn't quite understand. A piece of the puzzle I couldn't fit in anywhere else. But maybe you can make sense of it. Oh yeah, the pills. Meds for a martyr. Non-lethal doses present. Wait, non-lethal doses? What is this? Where did you find that? A pill organizer was found on the victim. She had a grasp in her hand when she died. Obviously, the police added it to the ARCs, but it was quickly ruled irrelevant. Seems like it contained triprexazone, prescribed to help martyrs with phantom bitches. They're small tablets, and those are tricky clasps, too, for a pill organizer. It'd be hard to handle with an unsteady hand. No one will ever know that she was feeling when she died. Even if they did. Feelings are complicated. You can feel angry, happy, and sad all at the same time. But as far as facts are concerned, it would appear that when she died, what she was doing was setting out your medication for the week. To my eyes, anyway. Was that the next day? A long night. That was too far just now. Practically rubbing it in his face. I'm not gonna care about his feelings, that I'll ever even see him again. But overstepping like that is pure hubris. And hubris invites a downfall. So why? Why'd I even bother? It was the last piece of the puzzle, I suppose. I just need to show more restraint next time. Though there won't be a next time for Heartbreak. Guns in custody, no more bullets left. There won't be a seventh victim. There won't be any more leads to pursue. The media will move on to their next obsession. I'll move on to my next MO. And no one will ever... District Attorney Rockford. Ginako? Sorry, can I try that again? I'm so fried. By all means. Ugh. Counselor Morgan. Morning, noon, and night. You're always so put together. Thank you. I don't get it. How do you sleep at night? I'm sorry? You do white noise? Aromatherapy? Whatever you're doing, you need to steal it. God. I must have bags under my eyes dark enough for the dumpsters. Assistant District Attorney Emma Rockford. She's a prosecutor, the lawyer who argues for the state in court, trying to prove a defendant's guilt. And despite her sometimes unkempt appearance, she's probably the sharpest person to fill the position in decades. I should know, since I haven't beaten her once. Worse yet, she has the remarkable ability to compartmentalize all that adversarial energy and only bring it out in the courtroom. It's part of what makes her good at her job, and hard for me to read. Should I buy a new mattress? What have they got you doing at this ungodly hour, Emma? Her weight is also omitted. Oh, she's O positive. I think that's the universal donor. Or the universal receiver? Donor. Assistant District Attorney, coffee, toffee, haute couture. Doesn't like sunburn, dead pixels, eye strain. Eggs Benedict plays chess, shogi, idle savant stars. Cat person? Yes. Oh well. Actually, I'm here for you. Me? Your client was a suspect in the Heartbreak killings. That's my case. Well, then you must have been relieved finding out that you won't have to go to trial against me. No? Why would I be worried about going up against you? It's always the unintended barbs with her. So you're working with those detectives? Yeah, London and the new girl. Riz? They've been reporting to me in preparation for trial. Preparation for trial? That seems ambitious. I guess they gave you the rundown. They've been doing everything they can, but it's hard to catch a killer who leaves behind so little. It's hard to kill while leaving so little behind. Surveyors told you they had HK in custody and you popped out of bed all excited to run down here? Hardly. I haven't slept in 40 hours. And she's proud of it, too. Too much on my mind. So when I heard about the case with a single female victim shot through the heart, yeah, my ears perked up. Well, that's about it. Oh. I mean, Carlos Flat, a serial killer. The same serial killer that's outsmarted the state for weeks. She's not using her middle name. He was found with the murder weapon. But I can answer that in a number of ways. It could have been Flat, but... Victim's blood on the sleeve, no gunpowder found. Luckily I'm not betting, so I don't think any of this would be pertinent. Let's go with the photo for now. That may be true, but then I glanced at the report. You glanced at it. No gunpowder residue in his armor clothes. Right. Too remorseful, too apologetic in that note. Whatever it was about. His dominant arm, modded. With documented sensitivity issues. He never made the shots that clean. Not without getting close enough to leave scorch marks. Not to mention, oh god, yeah. She's too tall for ballistic entry angles. And probably too heavy to not leave imprints. She got all that from a glance? But I'm sure the competent lawyer like yourself pointed all that out the minute you walked in here. Of course. Worst part is she's not even being sarcastic. Yeah, of course it couldn't have been him. Long-term relationship, physically imposing, argumentative. So not the type to bottle things up. He didn't match the profile. Profile? Yeah, Right, sorry, you probably never heard of it. I know what a goddamn profile is. A profile is a reconstruction of criminal psychology based on evidence from their crimes. Kind of fallen out of fashion in the last few decades. Not much is needed about the why, but 99 times out of 100, the who is caught on camera. And before they even leave the house. I've had to find some real fossils and oddballs to get advice on how to go about it, but I think I'm getting the hang of it. I think I'm satisfied to call that a stream, guys. This was very fun, very interesting, very good. I might continue it on my own time, depending on how much longer is left in this. I may just buy that episode 1. We'll see. Under backlog setting such as music. Can I? What is? Quit. Yeah, there you go. Fun, interesting, fascinating. Of the Devil, guys. That was a good one, and I might, depending on certain circumstances, may or not end up coming back. But it looked a good impression on me at the very least. So, hope you guys have a lovely rest of your day, rest of your week. There was one other thing that I wanted to get to, but it's actually very late now and I'm very tired. So, well, not as tired as it was the last time, but still. I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your day, rest of your week. Making sure you're taking care of yourself, and maybe don't go too hard on those true crimes. They leave you weird. Anyway, take care now.